And welcome back, Geek Variants. We are excited to talk today about the new Superman movie by DC, Warner Brothers, James Gunn's directorial, you know, debut for the silver screen of the new DC universe is being built out. Like this is the biggest movie of the summer right now. Like
Yep.
there's no doubt about it for me. Everything that we've had leading up to this has been wondering, is it going to live up to the hype? Is it going to match this? Is it being compared to this? What about this Superman? What about that? And
hmm
honestly, all of that stuff kind of needs to be put to the side to a degree, because if you go in and you watch the movie for what it is, we know it's a reboot of Superman, so that but it's a new version, take it for what it's worth and stuff like that. Then after you watch the movie and you've soaked it all in, then we can talk about comparison to other stuff and whatever's
Right.
going on,
And we'll
which
get
is
into
what we're
that.
going to do here today. All right, so
L-
let's start off with Tony. Tony is my resident DC
First,
expert here. All
first
right,
of all, no. First of all, we got to talk about how you snatched me up, kidnapped me, and made me go to the movies with you last night. And I left the most important thing at home because everybody knows I'm a Batman guy. Can y'all imagine me walking into the theater with this on? Because everybody had on their little Superman shirts.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we
But
had to get there, and we had to see this movie as quickly as possible. So yeah, I'm with it.
so let me. I'm going to give my thought on the movie, and I'm pretty sure it'll lead into spoilers. So just
Oh yeah,
know from
this is
here
spoiler
out,
heavy.
from
This is
here out,
spoiler
this is
heavy.
spoilers. If you've seen like my last one, what I did on Predator, Killer of Killers, I do spoilers very heavily. So let me just say this: I went into this movie praying, hoping that this was going to be a great movie. I didn't even care if it was great, just as long as it was better than the other movies that the DCEU put out. I wanted this to be on par with one of my favorite movies is The Batman with Robert Pattinson, because I think that movie itself was a great retelling of a young Batman, and I wanted something comparable for Superman. And I can honestly say this movie exceeded my expectations on what I was looking for.
Ooh, high
And
praise.
if anybody knows me, they know I have a major problem of not being able to shut off what I know from comic books and enjoying a movie. That is my major flaw. I'm not ever going to change, so you got to deal with it. So when I went into this movie and I watched it from opening credits to the two end credit scenes, I think I clapped like 5, 6 times, which I never do in the movies because I'm very mindful of others. But I wasn't the only one doing this, and there were
No.
there were scenes where people were hooping and hollering. You thought they were watching Endgame, but you were literally watching a Superman movie. And I like how Gunn did it, as I explain to people all the time. The best friends of DC is Superman and Batman. They are the yin and yang of DC. For you to have a yin, you got to have a yang. With that being said, Batman being the dark, brooding psychopath that he is the opposite of Superman's light, hope, and compassion. And that is what James Gunn gave me in this Superman. This Superman was full of hope. He wanted to save everybody's life. He wanted to do everything that was right. He didn't care who it hurt as long as he protected the innocent. And that started when we found out that he went overseas and stopped the war without asking anybody. And that's what Superman stands for, hope and justice. So with Corn Sweat, I'm not going to say he was the best live action Superman. I still think Cavill's look is better, but I think the outfit and his persona, Corn Sweat did better than Cavill. Cavill looks more like Superman. It's like you see the Marine Corps poster. You see the big square jaw muscle dude, but then you got your other Marines are like, oh, you still fit the bill. I think that's what it is. So you can't really compare the two movies because in this one, with all the bright colors and the dialogue had some humor in it, which is going along with the Superman mythos. He's not stern. He's look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have fun, and I love it. The bright colors, everything, even the storyline. I was enthralled by watching and listening. The dynamics between him and the Justice Gang, which is a
The
horrible
Justice
name,
Gang.
guy. I don't care. That dynamic was outstanding. So, for those who don't know, the Justice Gang consists of Guy Gardner, the Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific, who is my favorite character in this entire movie. And they were recruiting Superman to try to, be in here in the little thing, but Guy didn't want him. Superman was like, "I'll just come help out," kind of like what Batman does. So the dynamic between Guy, he was, and I know people don't like his look, but that's exactly what he looks like in the comic. That's exactly how he acts in the comic. He is the a hole. He is the I'm in charge of everything. You're gonna do what I say, and that's how he was in this movie. Miss Terrific. I'm so glad this dude got a chance to get redemption. If this wasn't the best version of Mr. Terrific ever, TV show, no. Comics, okay, that's what it's based off. But Arrowverse, no. This dude gave you exactly what Mr. Terrific is. The arguably the smartest person on earth, fighting skills out the wazoo, and just cool, calm, and collected. He did break a couple times and crack some jokes, but Mr. Terrific is a serious character. And if we look at the trailer, how he's walking through that camp, that fight scene was out freaking standing. Use of his T spheres as he was just doing this, and he was laying hands on folks. I mean, I have never seen so many moments in a fight since the Batman warehouse scene from BVS. This,
I mean, the show itself, the showing of the characters is fantastic. I mean, I think everybody played their part as well as can be. Some characters, and we're gonna get to this. Some characters are kind of
hot
a little
girl.
off for me, so at that freaking. But look, we'll go through one by one. So let's start with Superman. All right, this is the titular character. He is the one above all in this movie. He is the one that everyone came to see. As far as, and this is not in comparison to anyone else, as far as
Yep.
David Corn Sweat and his portrayal of Superman, just straight out, what is everything? What are your hits and misses as far as this
My
character? Sir?
my hits was I think he gave us the best ideology of what Superman is. As far as physical appearance, he's a tad bit on the smaller side, which I can understand. But that being said, he reminds me of Christopher Reeve's Superman, who is arguably the greatest live action Superman ever. Even the movie, if you watch it to this day, it stands the test of time. It still holds up. It's not like the old school, some old school movie where you watch it to now and they seem dated. No, it is still he still is the goat of live action Superman. Cornsworth, his look, it can be improved, but I also know they based it off of All Star Superman, and that is basically what he wore. He could be bigger. That my only gripe is the size. That's it. The
Okay.
way he portrayed him, I loved it. I
Yeah,
did.
I mean, I was super excited when he came on screen. Again, he had that lightheartedness, which is something I missed. And again, this is no takeaway from anybody else that's played Superman, but this is what I enjoy the most about his character. Again, he's lighthearted, he's genuine, and he's hopeful. And that's the things that Superman needs to be.
He hasn't been corrupted by Batman yet.
Batman
He
getting
hasn't.
Batman getting
Shut
his
up.
head. But no, everything about the look was fantastic. I like that we saw him way more as Superman than we did
Yes,
as
as
Clark
Clark Kent.
Kent.
Yep.
Because again, we're here to see a Superman movie, and I just the way the movie started off was great. Like the way that they kind of did everything in threes, freaking
Yep.
about 3 decades ago is here. So it just to kind of lead up to 3 minutes ago and stuff like that. I thought that was fantastically done because it told the story that we already knew. It told a little bit more of what we needed to know going into the initial fight, and then bam, here we are. We're not
Yep.
wasting any time. We're not replaying the pearls kind of scene, so that we're not doing any of that. So
We're
that
not showing
it
the planet blowing up and him coming in a rocket. No,
is
we here. The There is another gripe that I have, but it's with him and Lois as a character. The timeline is kind of throwing me off because in the movie they have been dating for 3 months. She already knows he's Superman, but for me, he seems like he's still learning his role as Superman. You know what I'm saying? In the comics, he was well established as Superman. He knew his role. He was the main, hero on Earth. Everybody knew him. He didn't have any doubts about himself. He already had an established Justice League with him. Here, he doesn't. So
mhm,
that's the only thing I have a gripe. I think she should have been dating Clark, but not knowing he's Superman. You know what I'm saying?
okay,
That would have been a better dynamic for me. But that's just me being me with the timeline. Because
okay,
he reminds me of a young Superman. He doesn't remind me like Cavill is 15, 20 years in as Superman. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
He seems like he's more 4 or 5 years, maybe.
okay, yeah. I think he came out as Superman. If I remember, the scroll came out like 3 years ago as Superman, and then that would fit again his timeline as far as being Superman and just kind of everything that kind of transpired from there. But overall, I think he did a fantastic job. I'm excited to see him in future
Yes.
projects and stuff like that, and we'll get more into this towards the end, but in future projects with other certain characters. But let's go to the next character. Lex Luthor.
Best live
Nicholas
best live
Holt.
action Luther ever. Ever.
Nicholas Holt is
Ever.
such a good actor, and so that like he is so good. Like I've seen him in a couple different things like that, and he has always delivered. And this portrayal of Lex Luthor was
Bar
absolutely
none.
fantastic.
Bar none.
Like the ego that he had, freaking, the chip on his shoulder, so it's like everything. And in fact, is that he said no, he's like, yes, I'm envious of this, so at that, and that's
Yeah.
why I do what I do. Like I'm like that. That's freaking Lex. Like I love this. I
His
love the
intel
strength of
he
the
showed
character.
the intelligence. So in one of the main scenes, Superman is fighting the hammer of whatever it
Bravia.
is, Baravia, which turns out, spoiler, to be Ultraman, but then turns out to be Bizarro, like I've been saying forever. That is Bizarro, that ain't Ultraman. So y'all can just shut up with all this. I don't care what the packaging says. They mispackage things before to throw y'all off. That's a Bizarro. Lex created a Bizarro. So while they were fighting, it was shown that Lex was in a control center calling out moves through his team for Bizarro to fight Superman. And that was how Superman was getting his body just broken. And it was showed the intelligence on how he has studied Superman to know every single move that he does, everything about him he knew. So when you think about the opening scene in the trailer where Superman landed like Yamcha in the snow, he got bodied by Lex and Bizarro, and that was it. It was great. I
He
loved it.
he had 2,500 pre-planned fight moves. 2,500
And he's just sitting here
pre-planned fight
watching
moves.
Superman and calling out moves as needed.
And you got to think about Lex's reaction time to be able to see what's happening with Superman. Those feeds, which freaking, I presumably have a little bit of a delay, and he's able to, preemptively freaking like, okay, this, to catch everything mid
He
fight.
was he was like A23, Z69, F
One A,
42.
one
He was like,
A,
what?
one A, one A. Like that one AC had me going. He was hyped. One
He was
A,
like, yeah,
bah,
I feel
one A,
I'm beating
bah.
him. Come on,
Yeah.
dude.
So it was absolutely great. Freaking, I love Nicholas Holt for this. Even when they're doing their press tour and stuff like that. Um, all of them, Rachel, freaking Nicholas, David, like they're all really really fun together. They're having a good time. They're playing it up. Like it's absolutely great for the entire setup of Superman. So
Yep.
I enjoy the chemistry between all the
That was my second
characters.
favorite character right behind Mr. Terrific.
All right.
This dude,
Crypto.
this dude, look, if anybody has ever had a hyper puppy, that's Crypto. This dog was all over the place. He didn't listen to nobody. He was rough. You talking about, and we found out at the end of the movie when Supergirl showed up why he was like that because that's how they play. Crypto and Supergirl were just going at it, but Superman didn't like that. He's like, Crypto, stop. It's like when Superman came back to the Fortress of Solitude after he got bodied by the hammer, got his sunlight, put back into him, looked around, and it's just a mess because Crypto has just tore up every single thing in this place. So it's like, Jesus, okay, dog, stop. But in the end of the movie, it came out that it was a strength because of Crypto's affinity for flying objects, because he did eat a couple of the T spheres. So at the end of the movie, Superman used that to help beat Bizarro, which is great. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was great overall. I mean, just and some people were talking about the look of Crypto and stuff like that, and he picked a dog. He's got the one cockeyed ear and stuff like that. Freaking like, it's great. I loved him. I love the way he looks. Freaking, he's absolutely fantastic as far as the dog is concerned.
It's great. It was
Him
he
coming
was
in
hilarious.
a clutch with those certain moments, like you see him like one minute he's tearing up a pet store and eating all the dog biscuits. To all right, I gotta go to work. What's going on? Oh, we gonna play? Get the toy. He's like, oh yeah, I'm finna get the toy, and he's going in. Like, I love just the innocent nature of Crypto and so like
Yep.
that. But and even though he was roughhouse whatever so that, he still did what he needed to do when it came down to protecting Superman and so like that. And that was one of the biggest things is like when freaking, and you got to see this, even though freaking it's in Foster situation, when Lex decided to put his finger on Superman's chest,
That dog
Crypto
K.
lost it.
He know who his family is. That's the
Yeah,
thing about this about dogs in general. Don't mess with their family. And
don't.
when Lex poked Superman, even though it didn't even move Superman, and Superman probably didn't even feel it, Crypto came in and wore Lex out. That's where all of Lex's, like at the end of the movie, if you look and see all the damage on Lex's face and broken arm, that was from Crypto biting and throwing him around this room like he
Like,
was a
yo,
rag doll.
straight
Loved it. And
manhandled.
Clark was like, no, stop,
Ooh, stop.
please.
Mm.
Crypto, stop it. Come here. Don't do that. It was, yeah, hilarious.
No.
Loved it. So I know y'all are strung up on the Cryptos from the animated show that was more like a Doberman, but whatever. No. This was perfect for the movie. It was
It really
perfect.
was. Engineer. I know you got something to say about this one. Let me before you get started. Like, as far as engineer, I like power. I don't know much about the engineer. I like the power set as far as with the nanites and being able to do different things. I'm not sure how certain things work with the engineer. Maybe you'll be able to explain this to me. Uh, just because everything with engineer was kind of off. Like when she did like a little flip and she changed her body around. Like, I don't know, this can this reorganize her
And
structure or something. Like, I'm not sure how that
this
particularly played
this
out.
was one of the gripes that I did have about the movie. I understand re-imaging, you know, characters. I personally didn't like I liked her as the engineer. I thought she was a great engineer, but the power set with the nanites kind of threw everything off because the engineer with the Watchmen is their hacker. If we remember way back in the day, we did a DC draft. She was my draft. She was my first draft pick for the tech because she is arguably the best hacker in all of comics. Period. But in the comics, of course, it was he. But I don't care about gender swap. I never do. She was fine as the engineer. I see why they did it because they did need because he did introduce nanites later, and this was his main project. But I just think she would have been better equipped as a human next to Lex being his 1A rather than another meta that they use alongside Bizarro to fight Superman. She needed to be
Yeah.
more behind the scenes, hands on. Like I would have liked to see it better instead of having 42 people in that control center and Lex calling out stuff.
You
Have
have
her
her.
have her plugged in, and he's just in here with his one comm talking to her. That for me that would have been better. Her fight scenes were okay. They weren't impressive. You know, like when they went to the Fortress of Solitude and she chose saws, buzz saws for a weapon against metal robots. I understand that, but you'd have worked better with swords, just chopping them in half instead of just throwing them around. And I did like how Lex just walked through everything like it
Everything.
didn't affect him at all. Like things blowing up around him, Lex just like do 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 do, just walking. That was great. Overall, I think it could have been. I think the presentation of her power set could have been better. I think it could have been animated better or CGI, whatever they do. I think it could have been a better take on hers. I don't think if you're going to give her a nanites like that, we've seen nanites in Marvel. We've seen how great they look over there. I think this was a more of a downgrade on that, but her power set is okay. But she's more of a brain type person, and that's what I wanted from her. Like, she was fine as once you get past all that and you watch her, that's fine. Her fight scenes could have been better again, but that's just me.
Yes. All right. Mm. Metamorpho, Anthony Kerrigan. Now, Metamorpho, I know nothing about Metamorpho. Uh, I was honestly expecting if, when they were doing casting before they announced Metamorpho was going to be part of this, I wasn't sure if they were going to do, like, again, Martian Manhunter or somebody else to bring in as far as an alien presence. But bringing Metamorpho in makes sense for the power set that he uses
They needed
to
him.
to affect Superman. So it's like I get that. I understand him being brought in. I thought he was a fun character. I love the fact that he's his father trying to protect his kid. I'm all about that. Um, and him coming in towards the end to help out, I thought was fantastic. It was great. He's got a good genuine personality, which I'm not sure that's how the character normally is, but it's a
No.
breath of fresh air in regards to, I guess, Guy Gardner's character. Freaking when they kind of met up, it was, you see, it's kind of opposites, but they kind of on the same wavelength about, like, the name Justice Gang or whatever. So Metamorpho, I know you had some thoughts on. So
So if if we think about if we just do the animated series, which had a Metamorpho episode, which a lot of people know from that's how they know of Metamorpho.
mhm.
Him and John Stewart are friends. He works for Simon Stagg. If anybody knows Simon Stagg, that's a big Batman dude. Well, Rex, his name is Rex Mason. He was dating Stagg's daughter. Stagg, of course, didn't like it. Stagg was performing human experiments and performed it on Rex and turned him into basically an element man. He can create any element known. Doesn't matter if it's earth based, anything. So in the movie, Lex had him captured, and this was something new. He had a baby. He didn't have a baby. This was the first introduction of Rex's child. That henchman was just sitting across in the little cubes, holding him. I don't know how long they've been there. That wasn't said, but that's how he was keeping Metamorpho, on his leash.
Mhm.
So he made Metamorpho turn into kryptonite, as you know, is Superman's weakness. Once he did it, you could see he didn't want to do it. I would say I love him as an actor, and you could see the pain on his face when he had to do it.
Even with all that makeup, you can still
He
see it. It
didn't
was
want to do this, but he made it into kryptonite, and so we're going to talk about that scene for a minute because this shows the Metamorpho character for this movie. So Superman was trying to talk to him. He's like, "Don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to me," because he didn't. He knew he was feeling guilty, and he knew he could be swayed. And Superman was like, "I can go get your son. Just get the kryptonite off of me." Blah blah blah. And then Metamorpho was like, "No, we're going to do this. My son is there." So then Lex comes back in with, I can't remember the guy's name. It was one of the
Molly.
civilians. Came in with Molly, who's a Superman knew because he always gave Superman food and like they were all friends. Came in and Lex looked at him and they started playing Russian roulette and started asking Superman questions. Click, first one didn't work. He asked him a question. Where are you from? Who are your parents? So he was like, I can't tell you. So he pulled the trigger again, blew the dude's brains out. That was the turning point for Metamorpho. He shedded tears because Lex just killed an innocent person. So Lex said, okay, we're going to go back and we're going to find somebody else you care about. Where's that reporter, Clark Kent? And of course, the whole audience, the whole theater started laughing because, this again throws off the timeline for me. So as they leave, he is Rex then starts talking to Clark. And he's like, just get it off me, get it off. I can get him, I promise you. So they remember for like, you promise you can get my son before something happens? He's like, yeah. So he changes his hand back. Now, while he's doing this, the other innocent people who don't want to get in trouble start screaming, what are you doing? No, you're gonna get us in
He's
trouble,
doing
blah, blah, blah.
something. He's doing
Somebody
something.
come get him. Like, why y'all snitching? Like, what y'all doing? Shut up. And then of course, what happens? Superman is like, oh, he's trying to get up, but as we know, Superman needs the yellow sun to help recover from kryptonite, which is what he was having. So Rex was like, well, I can't make a sun, but I can make other stuff. And this shows the intelligence of Rex Mason because then he started calling out all the elements. He kind of reminded me of Firestorm when he was doing this.
Hmm.
Calling out all the elements, making solar radiation in his hands. And then they pan away because by this time, Mr. Terrific and Lois had broken into the little chamber thing and was trying to find him. And then all of a sudden, you saw this big, bright light, and that lets you know Superman is now back. Because once he went back to the cage to watch him, Superman was up like boop boop and flew right across the street and bodied that dude and grabbed his son. And then all hell broke loose. That's when the little Ranger people came in to try to fight him, and they fought into the little animator thing. I was like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I loved it.
I mean, it was great because when he was calling elements, you saw he was doing everything, and this like, the attention to detail I love because like he had to activate the star that he created, so to speak,
Yep.
so like that. So you see him spinning it up and getting the revolutions and stuff like that to basically cause a big bang, more or less, in the palm of his hand. To bam, star is active. Superman stood up, sucked all it in. And you know how he is when he gets like really close to it, like he soups up,
It
way
was
faster,
almost
way stronger.
instant.
Like yeah, it's instantaneous stuff like that.
But he
Freaking
still had
and
kryptonite poison because
because it
he
was an
needs real.
artificial, yeah, it
Right.
was artificial, and that was the thing. So that it gave him the boost necessary. It's like
It's
you
like
sitting there
5 hour
like, okay,
energy.
bam,
Adrenaline.
let's
Yeah.
give you some adrenaline and stuff like that, get you going, stuff like that. You're gonna be going hard for a minute, stuff like that, and as soon as that adrenaline wears off,
Boom.
your back slumped over and stuff, and that's kind of what it was. So I love that Metamorpho was able to bring that into effect. And now that you mentioned again stuff I didn't know about, when Clark went in to after they fought the big little thing,
Hmm.
the big little guy, they went
About
in.
Stitch.
There was the thing, the panel that he was on said Stag on it.
Yep.
So I saw that, I read the name, but I didn't know what it was in reference to. So you
Thomas
just gave
Stag.
me what the reference is, and I'm assuming that that was his lady that when he went to go sit on the couch and he was watching on
That was.
TV. So that
That
was
was
her.
the
So
that would have been the daughter.
so now that's pulling it all.
Allegedly,
That's
because we don't
yeah.
know.
Yeah, so that's pulling it all together for me. So again, the attention to detail James Gunn has is insane as far as setting up all these things because this sets up for multiple things in the future.
I mean,
So
he just pulled the Batman universe here with Simon Stagg. He just did that.
yeah, all right. So and President, and we're gonna get to
And
like some more
I
cameos and stuff
love
later.
Metamorpho's design, by the way. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. Freaking, it looks like I love how it was textured and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It wasn't just flat, whatever. Like it was actually
And if
textured
you
over the
remember
things.
when he exploded into the fluoric acid to take
Yeah,
away and you saw how it was just his head there. It does take him a while to regenerate, and pull back in everything that he lost. So I like how they did that detail. It's not, blow up and he comes right back. No, it takes him time because then you remember at the end he was just a head with some squid arms.
squiggly
So
man.
his little healing factor was, his regeneration skill was kicking in, and he was going to come back to himself, which I loved.
All right, I'm with that.
We talk a lot about him.
Yeah. There's your boy, Guy Gardner. Here's
Let
what
me tell you something
now.
about this dude. Nathan Fillion understood the assignment when it came to Guy Gardner.
Yes,
He
he
did.
did. Yes, he did. He
The
absolutely is.
arrogance, the cockiness, the alpha, I'm the guy. This is what I expected out of a Guy Gardner character. Not a Jon Stewart, not a Hal Jordan, not a Kyle Rayner. A Guy Gardner type character is exactly what this was. The haircut could have been better. It's for me, of course, it's just me nitpicking. It should have been shaved on the side with just a bowl cut.
I like
This
it. I like the way it looked like he did it at home.
Yeah, it does look like he just made some green shears and just cut his own hair. But of course, they addressed that in the book. He's like, other people like it. That's how he said he got what 380,000 women or something like that. I'm pretty
I
sure
think he said
some.
380.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure some of them were aliens, so we're not counting those. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it was fun. Like, no, he had the brash bravado of I'm top dog, because the fact is that he stepped to Superman. So at that, he's like freaking, was any of this remote shoes like, you want to go big blue? And he was like in the face of Superman, and I'm like, didn't Batman body you at one point?
Batman one
Like,
punched him. Batman one punched him to sleep.
I'm like, who are you to be stepping to Superman right now? Look at that. But again, that's what it is. He thinks he's top dog, so like that. And again, Nathan Fillion, who is a legend as far as I'm concerned among comic book movies, because he's been in so much stuff.
Yep. This
Like,
by
he is
far is his
constantly cast.
best portrayal.
This, it
By
was his
far.
best portrayal.
By
He did
far.
fantastic.
We need more of this. We need more of him.
Well, they're supposed to be the Lanterns movie, right? They're
Yeah.
supposed to be doing Lanterns.
Hmm.
So we're supposed to have what Guy, Hal, and
You got Hal,
uh,
John, guys supposed to pop in. I think you're supposed to have the other ones. I can't remember all their names. It's like 5 million of them. I'm not doing all that.
yeah,
No.
freaking Kyle, freaking yeah. There's several of them. So I definitely
And
want to see a Lanterns movie.
and
This
he did have his moment to shine when they went to help
Bravia
the
and
Bravia people.
Jarhanpur.
Yeah, when he came in and they was calling for Superman, he popped in and said Superman's busy. He sent us. And
He's like, you just got an upgrade, and
you
then his
got to
Green Lantern
upgrade
fists coming out with
with the bird. He
uh
was shooting
uh
birds at everybody. He was backhanded. It was hilarious, and he was just walking around like la 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 la. Y'all can't touch me. It was great.
yeah.
It was great.
So yeah,
Kudos.
no, Mr. Terrific.
Just let me suck it in. Go ahead. Oh yes. By far, my favorite portrayal of any character ever in any movie. Better more than Iron Man, more than Batfleck, more than Star Lord, who I thought was a pretty spot on Star Lord. None of them, in my humble opinion, compared to Mr. Terrific. He was so spot on. The T spheres was so spot on. Everything about him, his outfit, his mannerisms, the way he talked to folks, loved, 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 loved it. I can't. There's nothing bad I can say about this guy. Nothing.
So we know that freaking Edie had played a character in a movie a long time ago.
That was one
All
of the
right,
horrible
it's like
franchises
15
ever
years ago. He played Darwin, who is literally unkillable, and was killed in that movie,
by energy.
and written off. Like, it didn't make no sense. So the fact is that he's here and he got his redemption for playing a new comic book character. He was like the first pick. I don't think there was any debate for him. For him being chosen to be this
Yep.
character, and he
And he
came in
nailed it.
with the gusto of Mr. Terrific, freaking with no issues whatsoever. I mean, the entire fight scene at the camp was fantastic because he shows he is a martial arts expert.
He is.
All right,
People thinks he's just
he
smart. He got
yeah,
hands.
no, he know how to fight, and that's what we said. Like, we saw him using his T spheres, and we saw him throwing hands, like with no hesitation. And it wasn't throwing hands just like no
Nah,
whatever. Like, no, he is straight freaking,
he was
like, he
doing
is throwing
capoeira.
boxer,
Let me
yeah,
tell you, he
capoeira, boxer, haymakers, like,
when
yo,
they got to the camp, he threw all his T spheres around Lois. He looked around, jumped out the spear, and started laying hands on folks. It
yep.
was great. He was hitting the military people, the civilians that got in the way. I'm sorry, rated E for
Anybody that worked for
everybody. He
Lex,
was he was
everybody
knocking
got
out
hands.
anybody that got in his way. I'm on a mission. I got somewhere to go. And then
Yeah,
when he said, "Look, I got to stay here. You get Superman back, take him somewhere where he can recover because Superman was having a kryptonite poisoning." And he stayed there, and he cracked the joke like, "Go ahead, take my ship. You'll figure it out." I just
Yep.
went right back to work. I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved
he's
it.
going to work, and the entire like his character, and again, I love that freaking. When he's like, okay, I need this. I can't hack. I need the code for this because there's a specific shutdown code. Because, and that's a testament to how smart Lex is as well. Lex built fail safes into certain things. So again, there's only things that he can do. So it's like, hey, Mr. Terrific's just like, I just need the code. Once I got the code, I can do everything else I need to do. So like, they're going to get the code. And when he got the code, and one of the henchmen was like, "Hey," he's like, "Shut up! I don't need your help." Got to work. Done.
Yeah, he's like, this computer is to help can help you shut the rift. Let me do it. Say, I don't need your help.
yeah,
So I got this.
yeah,
I'm the smartest person in the room. Leave me alone.
yeah. It's like don't mess with me. So Mr. Terrific, absolutely fantastic character. I can't wait to see more of him. Like I'm with it. I'm with
I think I want to
shenanigans.
say that was the best redemption for any actor in comic book movies. We could talk about Ryan Reynolds being going from Green Lantern to Deadpool. I think
I
it's
would put
better. I think he's the best. We can talk
I,
about Chris going from Firestorm to Captain America. I think he's better. I think this was
from
better
from Human
from
Torch.
Human Torch to Cap. I
Uh,
I think this
Now
was better.
we can talk Daredevil going to Batman. So at that, so there's a couple that are in there that have had redemptions, but because of the way that his character died and shouldn't have died, so at that freaking so he
And
recovered
got
from
no shine. You didn't
yeah
see Darwin's
he was on the
powers
screen for
at
like five
all.
minutes,
Come on now, Darwin
five
is
minutes on
unkillable.
screen.
This dude fought the Hulk and lived. Come on now.
Yeah, so I think it's the redemption ranks higher because of the fact is that not only did he recover from a bad role, he recovered from bad writing and stuff like that to come into good
And
writing
he was
and freaking a great
predominantly in
character.
this movie. It wasn't like he had
Yeah,
one or two scenes. He was in this movie.
like he was in this movie. Like he was out of all the Justice Gang, he had the most shine out of everybody.
Yep.
Straight
And he
up.
deserved it. I mean, yeah, I loved him. Great. That's my favorite from the movie.
All right.
Daddy
Freaking
Flag. Daddy Flag.
Daddy Flag, we're gonna hit on this in a minute. So we know that he's trying to work with Superman to a degree, in the political realm. Not necessarily work with Superman, but like he's not against Superman
He just
necessarily.
doesn't like metas, but he'll
Yeah.
work with him to justify his needs.
Yeah, so he's in there and they're figuring that stuff out, and some of the other directors and stuff are, they got issues with stuff, and they're all trying to work everything. But if you know anything, this is Rick Flag Senior. If you watched anything with Suicide Squad, you know what happened to Flag
Ju-
son.
Daddy Junior Flag.
Right, Junior did not make it,
And was
and
killed by Peacemaker, who
who
we're gonna see
appeared.
coming up. Yeah, he did. Peacemaker did appear. It was quite humorous, as John Cena is with Peacemaker. He dropped. He only had like 3 lines in the whole movie, but the 3 lines were needed and they were wanted, and it was enjoyable. We loved it.
Yeah, he was in there talking trash during
But
his cameo, and
Flag really didn't
absolutely.
do nothing. He just was there. He was escorting Superman to his prison. I expect more out of him in the Peacemaker series. That's what I'm
Yes,
looking for.
that's
But
what I think.
he's going to be a good Flag. I know this.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for as far as that. The
Four,
Superman robots
four.
for Gary.
Gary was his ended up being his name because he wanted a name. And if we think about the scene in the fortress where Clark came back after he realized, how Lex got for those. Oh, well, let's talk about this. Clark had uh, a video from his parents, his OG parents,
Yeah,
Jor-El, but it was only half decrypted. So he could only see the half, and the robots had told him what it meant. We're proud of you. We're sending you to a place where you can strive, and then it would stop and it would loop. So Lex, the engineer, found out where the fortress was, and then when her Ultraman and Lex walked up, she was like, "How are we going to get in?" And then it rolls out the ground. That was the scene. I knew it was Bizarro because the only
hmm
way into the fortress was Kryptonian DNA. So we know we got Kara, we got Cal, we got Crypto. So that means the fourth one would be Bizarro. Knuckleheads arguing with me. So when they got in there. She's like, "How to get in?" We'll talk about that later. So you get in there, and of course, all the robots, knowing the fortress came up, one paying attention, said, "Hello, Cal, turn around." And wait, no. and that's when the big fight scene turned on. And so Lex took it, got it decrypted, and the second half of the message, we're just gonna summarize it. Said, we're gonna send you to a place where you can take over the world, be the king, whatever. And of course, Clark never heard that, and you saw it on his face, like, oh my
Oh
god, what?
yeah.
Remember? And so he was like, how did they? And once they was like, how did they get the message? Because this is when they was talking to Guy and Hawk Girl and Mr. Riffy. He was like, what? How did? Because Guy said, how did he get the message? And it's like, oh no, and you saw it on his face when he recognized it. And Superman took off. And that's
Hmm.
another gripe. I'm just remember it. I didn't like the flying. I hated Corn Sweat flying. I didn't like
Yeah.
that. It didn't look right. But
No.
again, they can fix that somehow. So he gets back, and they took this scene straight out of the comic books. When he was sitting there with four and holding four, that is a scene straight out of his comic books. So Gunn, yes, definitely knew what he was doing when he pulled them in. And they are the same way. The only one of the differences is he does make different robots that don't look like this, they actually look like him.
Hmm.
So it's like 15 of him walking around, and they're not on his level of strength, but they do have some of his powers.
Okay.
But I'm glad they went this way because this felt more authentic to me,
Mm.
especially since you already ran a clone with Bizarro.
Makes sense to me. Hawk Girl.
Nope,
Isabella plays Hawk Girl. She came from last time I seen her was what
The Last of Us.
Dora Last of Us, Dora the Explorer.
She need,
She's been making her way up. She's definitely been working with
she's
the
not there
past
yet.
past 5 years. She's en route and stuff. So the fact is she got this role. I thought was fantastic. She looks great in the costume. Um, I just thought the she was hollering a bit much.
She was hollering. She was doing a hawk cry when she was flying. I, one or two times, like when you're attacking, I can understand.
Like a war
Pow,
cry.
yeah, but not while you just flying around. You reminded me of Black Canary with her canary cry.
Hmm.
I thought it was unnecessary. I also thought they depowered her somewhat because when they was fighting the
Yeah,
kaiju, when they was fighting Big Stitch, she should have
I,
been able to. She
to
should have been able
like
to pull
rock
that.
him.
That yeah, she should have been able to hit him a couple times and stumbling because she is not weak. She is strong.
Not at
Here
all.
it's just like she's maybe above human strength, maybe. But in all other iterations, she does have super strength. So I'm like, I was expecting her to just come with that mace and lay waste to stuff. It didn't happen. I think
I mean,
it could
she
have
laid
this.
waste to a guy. She
It
dropped him
was a
off.
it was a normal. Now that was hilarious when she took the leader of Baravia, and he was like, "You won't kill me. I know your type. You're like Superman." And she
You're too
said,
pretty.
"Yeah, I'm not Superman," and dropped him from the sky to his death. Oh, that was great. The character for me in general was great. It was necessary because it gave you did need a female dynamic in the group. I
Hmm.
just think they nerfed her too much. And I understand why, because she technically should be the strongest out of all of them physically. But I don't think she was stronger than Green Lantern. And
Okay.
I kind of needed that from her. I just needed something of her just one time uppercutting that kaiju and him taking at least a step back. But that didn't happen. She hit him in the eye and didn't even do nothing. He just closed his eyelid on her and she couldn't get the mace out. That was kind of
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah. So with this character, they went with look like her artificial wings, which I've seen her have natural wings and have the artificial wings. But
And that
she wasn't
depends.
wearing them she wasn't wearing them when they were sitting on the couch and stuff like that. So
Right.
that's when I noticed. So I
But
was like, okay, she probably has a set of wings that she wears into combat. So
right. And there are different iterations where she's Thanagarian, and then there's iterations where she's reincarnated on Earth with her love, John Carter, John Hall. Yeah, one of
yeah.
them names. And so I think they went with the Earthbound, which is better for me because since Superman here is barely picking up buildings, you didn't want, let him be the alien. You know, Guy Gardner got the alien artifact, let him be the actual alien and let everybody else be more Earth based. You know what I'm saying? So I could get that dynamic. I would appreciate that. But then you can't bring in the Thanagarian War later on if you choose to, which I think would have been a great thing for like Superman 5.
Consumer five to freaking
5.
plan far for bringing it in.
5. Like I said, she
Um,
was just nerfed for me too much. That's it.
yeah. All right. Even with her and again the Justice Gang, her being nerfed a bit, she still is there. I think she still got some promise to really kind of come forward and do more in the future. We already saw the Hall of Justice being constructed.
And you saw
Um,
me, I just got all happy and giddy when they did it. I started jumping around my seat. I'm sorry, I fanboyed. I did. I
yeah.
loved it.
So that leads to the future of what we're getting. We are getting a universe that is already from this one movie alone is already expanded in several different directions. With
Yep.
bringing Batman in, so that the Hall of Justice is bringing it. We're getting the Justice League together, and they constantly made jokes about the Justice Gang,
Yeah, and that's
not being the
and they
names
added
with
they
that.
added Metamorpho to them. So now you have a core 4 and Superman.
Yeah,
So technically you just need two more. And you got your 7.
yeah. Well, we do know freaking that they got plenty of stuff to choose from. Who they're gonna bring in
We know
is,
Batman's going to be one. Wonder Woman's
of
probably going to
course.
be the other.
Yep, freaking. I think they may be taking a break on the Scarlet Speedster for a little bit while they try to figure
And
some stuff out.
and my people out there, I know you're happy. There is a rumor, a big rumor that Grant is coming back to play Flash for the DCU.
Honestly, he's the only one I would choose for that at this point
As
in
long as
time.
he comes back as Barry Allen, not Wally, I'm down with it because you
Yeah,
need Barry first. You need Barry
very.
first.
All right, all right. So I don't have a slide. I was looking for a post of her. What do you think of Lois Lane in this movie? Like, how was her depiction in comparison to other Loises that you? Um, for me, I like the strong journalism aspect when she was interviewing Superman. That kind of showed me her character, a bit more of how I've used to seeing her about being strong-willed and trying to get the story and put certain things first. Like that's
Hmm.
how I'm used to seeing Lois. When she always came off strong in the beginning. Um, that was the best part of that. I don't think I had any other like real gripes. I like that they did not have her trying to be a hero. That's a
Or like
mistake.
Lois
That
now that wants to run around and
that's I hate like here's the thing is like this is you got metahumans that are doing things and handling business like that and you want to run support. I'm all about
eh,
you run support so
yeah,
that
just stay
freaking
out the main way.
yeah, stay out the way so that the fact is that she was hey, we're focused on getting the story out there so that I love that fact, but that they were focused on getting the story out, so that's going to help damage Lex and that's going to do it. That's great support role. I love that. Nothing else was needed so that I don't need to see them running around town in distress again. We kind of got saw that during the
All of
Superman
them.
movies and so that
All of them.
yeah, it's already been done. Strong journalism. She was doing her thing. Jimmy freaking was great. So freaking her
Let's talk
dynamic
about
with
Jimmy second. No,
Jimmy.
because Jimmy deserves his own spotlight
Yeah,
because
he's
that
gonna get his own spotlight.
that
So
dude
that
was
freaking
great.
but like her dynamic freaking with Jimmy with Clark so that three like it was
It
great.
was three
Again
amigos.
it felt good. And that's what you wanted to see with this character. Her
So
being the love interest part and so with that.
it's still
I
some
like that
it's
I
it's
like
still
that
it's
it
still something for me.
was rough. I like that part. The fact that it's not stable. Like they were still talking about it and
They're
trying to
growing
figure it out.
pains.
Yeah, and I like that. Freaking, it's not just a I'm in love. Like it's literally like we're trying to figure this stuff out. You can have love for someone so at that, and it's still not be the best, and you're trying to figure it out as you go along because there's different cues and stuff that you have to navigate. So that's
So
one of the biggest things I loved about it.
let me address how I feel about the character of Lois in her portrayal. The only thing I have to disagree with you is her not putting herself in danger. I think that's a key aspect of the Lois character as a reporter. She had, and because that's how Superman first got into it with her, because she was always in the front line. She was always putting herself in danger, and he couldn't understand why a human kept doing this, and she kept saying, "Well, that's my job. That's my job." I
Well,
think the portrayal is she did a better portrayal than Margot did in 78 as the character. I just think the aspect of her going to the front lines is more pivotal for her character. I think that's a key cog of Lois Lane. The
look,
no fear, all that other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I got no problem with that as long as she's not trying to fight. That's my biggest
No, no,
thing.
no.
With that,
But
yeah,
she does. She has some hands, but she don't have hands like that. She need to be out here
yeah,
punching, walls and nothing like that. No, she don't need that. But
yeah.
overall,
Be
this
be
character
there.
portrayal was pretty spot on, minus that. That's just me though. I just think her like grabbing Jimmy by the neck, saying, "Hey, come on, we got to go get this story." That's the only thing I was really missing. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy was more of a background character here instead of her true sidekick, which he is
So let's talk about Jimmy. Freaking Jimmy shined in this movie. Freaking
in this
first off,
movie.
he was the heartthrob. A lot of women were after Jimmy. So at that
For
freaking and I was like freaking I'm with it. It's Jimmy's just got a natural charm that just shines. Run it. Freaking I'm fine. But
it's the freckles. It was the freckles.
that's what played to his strength of being able to talk to Eve and get certain things from Eve
It was
to
way out of his league though.
hey man, freaking sometimes you swing for the fences and you
That
get
was
that
a
home
grand
run.
slam. I mean,
Hey,
she was smart as a bag of rocks, but
and then
she
her
did help solve
shrimp cocktail
cases.
toes.
She did. This man said in his phone, Jimmy had Eve saved as mutant toes. I laughed so hard about that because yeah, then he was like, it looked like shrimp cocktails. I would
It looked like
never
shrimp
not be able
cocktail
to
was
see that.
dropped on the floor.
You
I'm
know what I'm
like,
saying?
yo,
It's like your feet they look like this. But even as stupid as Eve was, on accident, she helped Lois and Jimmy figure out how Lex was behind everything. Taking
what was it on
selfies.
accident though?
It was on
I,
accident because she was taking selfies.
she, she said I got stuff that'll put Lex away. She specifically said that. So I
She
feel
didn't
like
know
she
she was
wasn't.
sending. She didn't know
I
she was sending
no.
pictures of
I think she
maps in the
knew.
background. She
I
was,
think she knew. No,
uh
I
huh.
think she knew. Those pictures were very strategically placed in
She,
how she took
you're
those
giving
photos.
her. You
I'm giving her
stop,
credit. I'm giving her
stop
credit.
talking, stop talking.
I'm giving her
You are
credit.
not gonna sit here
She would not sit
and
there and be
give.
like, "This is the evidence. I know this is what's gonna put Lex away,"
I'm
and
not
just
talking.
be selfies. Like, no, there's no freaking way. She knew what she was doing to protect herself because she didn't want to get put in freaking in prison because she heard about what
Lies,
happened with the exes,
all
Lex with
lies,
that. So
all
she
lies.
knew
You're not
about
gonna
freaking taking the
justify.
pictures.
You're
Now, did she know exactly what all
if
the stuff
she did
was?
this, you would
Probably
hear the
not.
rocks.
But she knew that he was doing bad stuff and she took pictures
You
of
can't help but know he
everything
was
that
doing bad stuff. She
exactly
took
she
pictures
knew.
of
So she
herself.
took pictures of herself
Herself.
freaking
Exactly.
in the
That's it.
process
Nothing
of
else.
getting the bad stuff. Like
No.
that's the whole thing.
You're
She
giving her
took
way
pictures
too
and
much
she's
credit.
I'm
You're
giving her
giving her way
credit.
too
She
much
deserves
credit.
credit. She
No.
deserves credit. I'm positive. I hope freaking James Gunn freaking hey, I need you to back me up. Tell me. Tell me what's up. Freaking I
you
need to know.
know, you know what this was a callback to? I don't know if everybody saw the 1978 movie where you had Lex Luthor screaming out for his number one, Miss Tessbacher. She wasn't too bright either. Eve was dumber than her. I'm sorry. No, no. But
Okay, look,
Jimmy
she shows like
was a player.
she knew to avoid the traffic cameras because she knows Lex is looking. So that she's not as dumb as everybody thinks. She's ditzy, but she's not as dumb as everybody thinks she is.
She's
I think she was playing.
she's the walking epitome of blonde moment. That's what she is. I said that is not Ultraman, that is Bizarro. When one of the main reasons I say it is whenever you have a fresh new movie, they always have to fight their opposite.
Yep.
That's just how it is. Flash fights Reverse Flash. Batman's opposite is 100% the Joker. Wonder Woman 100% is the Cheetah. They're exact opposites. and it made sense. And then when they get to fighting, and of course, Ultraman is and engineer are double teaming Clark, and he's like he outsmarts him because how do you stop nanobites? You freeze them. That's one of the major downfalls. So what does he do? He accelerates, and this shows that his speed is on a different level from Bizarro because the engineer caught up to him and he was still accelerating. Bizarro caught up to him, grabbed his foot, got onto him, and he was still accelerating. Got up to space, everything started to freeze, and what happens? Now I'm coming down into a comet. But
And
again,
he,
with and he handled it. So then you get Ultraman standing up, mask is all ripped, and we're like, okay, here's the big reveal, and he takes it off, and it's a long-haired Superman. Now it's revealed as Bizarro. Loved it, loved it. The only thing is he didn't have backwards powers, so he didn't have you know heat breath and ice vision. It was
mhm.
still his, he didn't have the rocky, complexion of Bizarro. He didn't even speak. Lex spoke for him. So
Well, I
I
think
I
that's
like that portrayal better. I like the movie portrayal better for what we're doing with the DCU than if Bizarro came in speaking backwards and now you're hurting people's brains in the theater trying to figure out what he's saying.
yeah. I think what I would like them to do is we saw that he got dispatched through the black hole, right? Freaking
Yes.
so he is now floating between worlds or whatever the case may
Which
be.
I actually think they're going to make that the Phantom Zone. That's just me throwing stuff out that I'm thinking it might turn into the Phantom Zone.
It could. It's a great way to freaking do it. And now freaking it's prison and we have the keys. Mr. Terrific has the keys to the Phantom
Yep.
Zone. Freaking so that can set up. But like I think that we can get to the point to where Bizarro, if they bring him back with that because of where he's been, he could have a more you know pale complexion or whatever the case be. He could be learning to speak and he just maybe speaking slower or broken and stuff like that.
Me
Freaking if he
hate
does make a
you.
return, yeah, and stuff like that. Freaking and I think that that'll be good for the character in this universe to when they bring him back eventually. Like I think
So
he'll show up.
what they could do is, Lex is locked up in Rikers or wherever,
Like, they sent him to Belle Reve.
Bel Rev. So when he breaks out, gets back there, now you can build an injustice game.
Oh, they're about to because he's about to go back to where they pulled the Suicide Squad out of.
Yep. So
So
now
if
you can
anybody
build
knows,
one.
if you watched it, yeah, like freaking, he's gonna make some friends, and they already know we're doing a Clayface movie, right? It's already
Yes.
it's already being done. It's already been said that it's gonna be freaking. It's gonna be that's on the darker spectrum. Like that's gonna be. It's a Batman villain, so that of
It
course
has
I
to be
expect it
dark.
to be. It has to be dark. So we're gonna get that. And again, if they keep in mind with how they did, because the Penguin series was fantastic.
The greatest live action series ever. I don't care what you put up against it. I'm gonna say I'm standing on this hill.
Yeah, and no, I'm standing right there with you. Like it was too freaking good. So now you got all these things coming into play. We saw stuff from with Peacemaker making his cameo. We saw stuff. Apparently, Peacemaker is going into a alternate dimension.
Yep. And I
So
need that because now that, but see that's they had to explain because since Peacemaker was in the DCEU, how are you
mhm.
getting here when this is different? So for him and his people to get transported to another universe makes sense,
I think
and
that
I'm with that.
I think Peacemaker is going to take place before Superman.
Yeah, I think so because Flag is gonna have to fight him. He's gonna have to, and then they got to make up. They're gonna have to make up.
It's something. So we'll see how it goes. And then you're putting the whole squad together. Yeah. Who do you think will be the next, I guess, big bad to come in with Superman? Who do you think he's
I
gonna
mean,
face
you
off
have
with next?
you have so many, but my thing is you do have the unfinished storyline of Bizarro.
Okay.
I would love for Bizarro, and I hate that I'm saying this. I would love for them to take the TV way, or even the Batman versus Super way of curating Doomsday and using Bizarro
Hmm.
to create Doomsday. Because technically he would still be Kryptonian. He would still have power sets, but just somehow he's in this zone, and that's where he gets, other people, other entities or aliens, or however you want to describe them, are in there, and they start experimenting on him, and eventually create a doomsday. You don't have to call him doomsday; he could be a doomsday type monster, but I need a better depiction of doomsday.
You can call him a doomsday threat, and
Yeah,
that would
doomsday level.
allude to the new.
But if we don't go that route, I think, because you already gotten rid of Lex, you're already getting rid of Bizarro. If you build up like they should, you technically should bring in Brainiac. Make it a
That's where I
world
was
threat.
going.
Make it a world threat. Give me the Justice Gang. Give me Metamorpho, Hawk Girl, Guy Gardner, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash, and bring in Brainiac. Because then you can also have Supergirl cameo with bring back my dog, bring back Crypto. Because with Brainiac being Kryptonian, now you can introduce Superman rescuing Kandor and putting them in the fortress. Because for people who don't understand, the fortress just wasn't his home. He also had a zoo of rescued alien animals, but in the bottom level. So when he would go to other worlds, he would rescue, get aliens and put them in this zoo. So now it was like the last of their kind, like he was. So they would have a home, and I
Hmm.
think that would bring Kandor in. Then you have that dynamic, and then you could just Mongol could be one. I think he would be after. I think Brainiac should be next, and then maybe Mongol could be one. I don't think Darkseid should show up until we have an established, well established
Well
Justice League.
established Justice League. Yep.
I'm talking about they need to be fighting as one.
Yeah.
Um, if you want to stay more Earth based, and I know this is gonna sound like a Black Panther ripoff, but you can have Rise of Atlantis storyline where Aquaman, comes in and tries to assert his dominance as the world leader because 2/3 of the world is his domain. You can do that storyline because Aquaman is a threat.
Yeah, but he won't be defeated by being dried out though.
No, he won't. And he's not stupid enough to stay away from water. He has too many people with water-based weapons that would shoot him as many times as necessary. So I'm just spitballing here, but give me
Well,
Brainiac. Give me a well-written Brainiac. Give me a well-written Brainiac, and I think I'll be good for that.
all right. Let's get your thoughts on. There was a floating pink mass that the Justice Gang was fighting while
Oh
Superman
yeah,
was drinking hot cocoa. Tell me about
and
that.
and not even caring about it. So it was in the trailer, of course, and people were speculating like, well, who is that? What monster is that? And Superman gave you the answer without giving you the answer. His words were, "Oh, that's just a fifth dimensional imp. They can handle it." For the normal people who's going to be Superman's this, Superman that, they're going to say that's Mixie. And I'm saying Mixie because I'm not saying that entire name because I always say it wrong. So it's Mixie. But for the people who have watched Peacemaker, you have the answer. If you remember when Peacemaker and his old boy was sitting down and he was patching Peacemaker up, and he's like, I don't like you. I don't even want to be here with you. I'd rather go hang out with Batmite. And Peacemaker was like, who is Batmite? He's like, oh, he's just a 2 foot tall, fifth dimensional imp who causes trouble. I'd rather be with him than you. That, my friends, is something Batmite would do. Even
Hmm.
though Batmite, so I'll put it like this: Superman has Mixie, Batman has Batmite. They're both fifth dimensional imps. Mixie is just more well known, but the problem with Batmite is he technically has the Toon Force.
Hmm.
That's him. So, with that being said, it was, in my opinion, and a lot of other people I talked to, especially the theater, like, yeah, that's Batmite causing trouble. Because he's not like Mixie, who's focused just on Superman. Like, nobody can mess with Superman when Mixie's around but Mixie. Batmite comes over. He is a fanboy of Superman, of Batman. That is his favorite hero. So he's going to do anything he can that he thinks helps Batman. He's not focused on Batman like Mixie is focused on Superman. He is like, what do you need? I got you. And it always leads to trouble because he doesn't know right from wrong. And I don't know if they should have introduced fifth dimensional beings yet because we're still young in the movie. But I think it was a great callback to people who actually listened to other parts of the show that Gunn was dealing with. So I think it was smooth how they brought it in there.
Okay, we can. I'm not against it being brought in. Um, I think that it's fun. It sets up that where we can do something down the line in the future, and
Yeah,
we've already kind of laid the groundwork for it. But we don't have to work on it right now. We bought the plot. It's here. We can use it when we're ready, and
and
just
it
kind of
could
run
just be
from
a
there.
name drop without, and that's fine too. Everything doesn't need to be put on screen. You can name drop, and that's fine. Because I think Batmite would just cause too much trouble. So yeah, you don't need that right now.
No. All right. What do you think is going to happen with Supergirl from this point on?
I sent you the text earlier that I was out, grocery shopping, and the guy had the blue Superman shirt on, and we got into talking about it. He said, "Yeah, he saw it last night," and we had the conversation about Supergirl and how we figured that this iteration is going to be the young, inexperienced, partying Supergirl. That there is a comic run of her, and there is a couple of animated shows with her being the young rambunctious teen, which you expect a teenager to be. And for those that don't know, Kara is actually older than Kal-El. She's the older cousin, but she was trapped up longer. He got to Earth before she did, so he aged and she didn't. So
Hmm.
this is the age disparity that you're gonna see. She's still 15, 16, 17ish. He's late 20s now. So, and you heard in the movie, he said, yeah, she goes to planet with his red sun so she can get drunk. And you saw again how her and Crypto acted. Superman was like, please stop doing that, dog. And Crypto sees her, flies her into a wall. She starts laughing. Then he's grabbing her by the cape and throwing her around. She's just giggling. And then she gets up and leaves. Plus, she
Hmm.
didn't even come in through the door. She flew in through the wall. So I think I think we're gonna get the young partier, and then when Lobo shows up, her whole mindset is gonna change. I think that's when she's gonna turn into the okay, I need to start taking stuff seriously because
Yeah.
Lobo is a major problem for anybody.
Everybody, I swear. Lobo
He's a
just
problem
caused
for
issues.
anybody you put in front of him. He's a problem
Yeah.
for. But overall, this movie was pretty good. Pretty good.
Movie's pretty good. Movie was solid. I'm happy with this. I think James Gunn freaking
You
bang up
did it.
job, sir.
You
Like
did it.
you did it. He is successful in Marvel with Guardians of the Galaxy. He is successful in DC with Peacemaker, Creature Commandos, and Superman. And I have got nothing but high hopes for everything going forward, and seeing just what kind of things can really be created with this universe. Like, how are they going to put stuff together? Because right now, the thing that I want most is to take David Cornsweet's Superman and
Hmm.
Robert Pattinson's Batman,
And put
and I
them
need to
together.
bring them together at
Think
some
about when
point.
we
Do
said
not
this
leave this
in the
Elseworlds.
when we said this in the movie theater, everybody around us was like, we need that. That is exactly what we need because they're around the same age. They're around the same time, I guess, in their careers. So this will be a good bridge to bring Robert in, have Corn Sweat be his like, hey, I'm trying to figure you out, and then let that budding relationship take off. And then worry about Wonder Woman later.
Yeah, I'm not worried about Wonder Woman. With having Supergirl freaking present, I'm not even worried about Wonder Woman at all. Like, it's not necessary.
Look,
Like, she can come in way down the line.
first of all, Wonder Woman will body Supergirl. I don't care what none of y'all say.
I mean, yes,
Body.
I know,
Even
but
even an established Supergirl gets bodied by Wonder Woman. She bodies Superman. What are you talking about?
Yeah, she does. But for right now, with the way the storyline's going, being the young trying to figure stuff out, like I like the rough kind of group we have right now,
Yeah,
and I don't want to get to the established characters as quickly. So right now,
I
Batman and
got you.
Superman are the key pieces you need. Like those are the key pieces in any DC property. Those two right there, they are your freaking your best pieces. When you having them, and then everything else around them, you can play with. That's why we got Guy Gardner. That's what Supergirl's freaking here, so like that. We've got Mr. Terrific and so like that. And by none of these are bad characters at all, so like that. They're not the mainstream characters that everybody knows. With you got
Right.
Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan, whatever. So it's like let's play around with the rough group, introduce some other characters and stuff that have been around, that freaking have had interactions in the comics and stuff that we've seen, and let's bring some of them to life, and then we can slowly bring in the bigger names, because we know Wonder Woman's coming at some point. She's part of the
She's gonna
big
come.
three. Like that's the holy trinity as far as DC
That's
is
the
concerned.
Trinity.
So it's like you've got to bring her in so that, but I'm not in a rush to bring her in right away. We can.
Right. I think the dynamic between Superman and the Justice Gang is fine. I like how they are starting to work together, which is the key for any young team coming together. Like Guy and his crew already have the dynamic of working together with just working together without having to worry about each other. Then you got Superman coming in. I think that if you just drop too many of the variables in at one time, and they did this in Justice League, the animated series. They had, the initial episode was all these characters coming together, not knowing each other, and it was kind of off at first. There's like, who is this Wonder Woman character? And Batman was like, stand back, let's see what she can do. I'd rather have core established, and you start dropping in. Please do solo movies first though. Don't start off like
Mhm.
the DCU and give us a team and then drop solo movies after. Please don't do that. We have our solo Superman. We have our solo Batman. Now you need to mesh those together, and then give me somebody else, and then you mesh them together. Then give me somebody else, and then mesh that together. And then I like that about that.
Yeah.
Hold on, how we gonna Jeremy? There is no current Batman in the Superman universe for DCU. Robert Pattinson's Batman is technically considered Elseworld. He is in his own universe. We're hoping that they actually change that and bring him and Cornsworth together and give us World's Finest at some point.
Yeah. That would be playing. So some of the stuff that's
Keep talking. I gotta get my wire.
yeah,
My
some of
headphones
the
going
stuff
out.
that's currently slated, and you got to think about how they've set up for things to go. We have the Batman listed under DC Elseworlds, so all that stuff is Elseworlds, so that, and we've already got Peacemaker talking about, you know, traveling and stuff like that, which means essentially something similar can happen with Batman. You can merge the worlds. You can do something. We don't know what they're gonna do yet. Currently listed in the Gods and Monsters chapter is Superman supposed to have a Waller live action series. I think was talked about.
Right.
We've already seen Creature Commandos. We got the Lanterns live action series
Mm-hmm.
stuff. We have the Authority film that's supposedly on the docket.
And
Swamp
that's
Thing film.
yep.
Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. A Booster Gold live action series.
That's gonna be great.
Paradise Lost live action series, and then listed as Batman the Brave and the Bold film.
Which we don't
So
know the premise of that. That's gonna be a Batman and Robin type thing though.
yeah.
Which
So
I'm hoping by the time we get there, Robert Patterson has been incorporated into the DCU. Because right now he's on the outside.
mhm,
And for those who don't know what Elseworlds are, if you think about Marvel and the what if, that's what DC's Elseworlds are. They're their own contained pocket universe that affects none of the stuff in that's considered canon. So that's what that is. So you can have Batfleck and Patterson both being Batman at the same time, but Batfleck is in the DCEU, which no longer exists, and Patterson is in an Elseworld, which is not where Cornsweet is. He is in the DCU version of the DC superheroes. So you have people all over the place now.
Yeah, what's
Well,
going to be his tone?
he needs to be dark and brooding. That's why we're hoping that they take Patterson because, and I'm gonna go into the Batman. I was a big anti Patterson casting for this role because my main thing I remember him from is all rom coms. And Twilight, I hated with a passion. So when I saw him as being casted, I was like, I don't know. He doesn't seem like he'd be dark and brooding enough. But then I saw that they were gonna make it a year two type Batman. So I was like, okay, that fits the age. And then when I sat down and I watched the Batman, I was like, you know what? He is dark and brooding and emotional enough to be Batman. And I loved him for the role. He was almost perfect as a young Bruce Wayne and a young Batman learning the ropes. And that's why I'm like, I would love for him to be brought in because we've established him as that Batman in that universe. You've already brought Peacemaker from another universe into the DCU, and you need with Corn Sweat's type Superman, he is more bright. He has a lot more hope. He is, he's more of the Superman type entity than Cavill, and you need somebody darker to balance the light. That's why I think Cavill and Affleck was okay as the world's finest, but they were similar. You didn't have a balance because Cavill was willing to do whatever, and so was Affleck. But with Corn Sweat, he has a limit. He wants to make sure he stays on this side. Why Patterson is like, no, I'm over here. I'm about justice by whatever means. So I think you need the balance, and that's why Superman and Batman work so well together because they balance each other and they keep each other leveled. So I think if we don't get that, I still think you need a dark, brooding Batman. You can't have, Adam West type Batman with Corn Sweat because it's the same character. I don't,
Yes.
that's not the dynamic that you have.
Batman's got to be willing to go through lengths that Superman won't. All right, that
And
Superman's going to
Superman says
question.
that at all times. He's like, I might not can get the answers out of you, but he can.
Yeah. So if the Batman Part Two, which I'm not sure when it's supposed to drop. I think they got it for next year sometime, maybe.
Yeah. I think the Brave and the Bold is more toward the back end, and
Yeah.
I hope they don't do the Brave and the Bold movie like the animated show because that was campy for what it was. But I don't need that campiness for Bat. I don't need a campy Batman like that in the DCU. I still think just like Keaton was a great Batman because he was dark and brooding. Bale was okay. Batfleck was a better fighter than all of them, but for me, they weren't dark and brooding enough as Pattinson was. But that's just me. I know how I like Batman, and I grew up on Adam West, but Keaton was better overall. Affleck was a better Batman. So
All right. So in relation to Corn Sweat, and I would love to hear from anybody who's got an opinion on this. Who, if we do not move Pattinson over, which I still right now think is the perfect one to move over, so that if we do not move Pattinson over, we have to cast a new Batman, so that they still need to have the same tone that Pattinson has. Who would fit the bill? Like that's the question now that needs to be asked. So if we're 100% sure that Pattinson's not to move, who would we bring in as a new Batman? And that's what casting directors and stuff we got to look at. Like, what do you got?
if we don't bring him over, I've talked to people, and some people like this and some people don't. I think a good Batman would be Alan Richardson, the guy who plays Reacher.
Oh, absolutely, I love Alan
He
Richardson.
already has the fighting prowess and he has the look of Batman. His Reacher character is pretty much Batman without a cape and cowl. I just need to go and see him if he could be a playboy.
Mhm. So, unpopular opinion. I'd rather not see Bruce Wayne's Batman. Give me Dick Grayson or Batman Beyond.
That is not
I
unpopular. First, no, I'm stopping you. Let me tell you about this guy right here. His dream, and I support this dream. Give me a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton as old Batman, and give me Terry McGinnis. That he would see that movie 15 times. Doesn't he have to be
I
good, but he would go see
I am not opposed to that happening. Not at
it.
all.
Nobody's opposed to that. We
But
we
for
want that.
yeah, we want that so that I just don't think that it's gonna fit in here with David Cornsweet.
It could be an
Now,
Elseworld. It
it would
could be
absolutely
else.
have to be an Elseworlds. Like there's no other place to put it. I would make it Elseworlds. You can make it a one-off movie, freaking, and people would be happy. And after you see the reception of the movie and how many people go see this movie,
Then figure
you
out how
can
to connect
decide
it to the main
if
continuity.
you want to, yeah, if you want to, bring something in to show a connection or freaking, with whenever Flash is brought in and stuff like that, and you want to have a connection freaking there, or something like
Grant
that.
Gustafson. Hmm?
Yeah, it can be freaking done. It can be done. But I think you've got too many perfect casting choices that are already kind of sitting here present that you need to make a move. Now, of course, Clark Kent needs Bruce Wayne. Freaking Batman needs Superman. Like they have that dynamic. They
They
need each
need each
other
other.
to work. When bringing in, of course, I absolutely would love to see Robin come in, Nightwing, however you want to, however you want to do it. Like
Red
I don't know.
Hood.
I don't
That's
like
my dude.
so. Here's how I'm curious. Like, will we do it where we have with this since we've already got an established universe so like that we can have certain things already present. We can already have with the Superman being present and then Batman being young in his thing. Like you can bring in Jason Todd easily and set
No,
that
you
up.
can't bring in Jason Todd yet. You got to bring in Dick first.
Yeah, you bring in Dick and then bring in Jason to set up. Um, I always get them backwards. So bring in Dick Grayson, have him set up as Robin, have him make the transition to Nightwing throughout the course of the series, throughout the course of the movies, so that freaking bring in freaking Todd that would be lost at some point, and then that's where you could introduce your Joker at some point down the line. Like we've already seen Joker
We don't
with
need
the
another
Elseworlds.
Joker in every single Batman
We
movie, please.
don't, and so that we
We don't.
don't. But Joker is part of what. That's the only way you're gonna bring in Red Hood is
Oh, I
with
know.
Joker.
I
So
know.
freaking like that would be the only time I would be like, okay, introduce Joker into the universe is if we're going this route with Red Hood.
But that's the thing. I don't think they can do the death in the family storyline along with this. It would have to be a one
No,
shot. They
it
couldn't
had to be one shot.
incorporate it into the main continuity because it's just too much going on.
I just feel like we can go the Tim Booth route with Best Man with Batman.
Alan Richson. I could see him as Batman.
The dumbest mistake they've ever made was cancer in the movie. A color should have been great. Yeah, I mean, there are different things that I think you could set up to really make this stand out. Again, I want to see. I was so disappointed with Batman and Robin. I heard about the canceled Batman Beyond movie.
I heard it made it to a pitch, but they decided just to hold off on it because of the DCEU. I don't want to say the word, but making mistakes and destroying what could have been.
Yeah, I
It
wasn't
was
sure if
it
it
was
was.
on it was on the table, but with the
It was
failure
just
of the
pitched.
DC,
Yeah.
yeah, with the failure of DCEU, they was like, nah, we're not putting no more money in this.
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
they
I
can
think
always repitch it now because, but again, let's not let's not get ahead of ourselves and say the DCU is back because it's only one movie
it's
technically, even
forming.
though
It's
it's forming. Let's just say this is a great start to what they can have. So we'll see what happens with the next entry. which is what Peacemaker is going to be the next entry technically into it.
Peacemaker should be this year, right? Peacemaker.
Yeah, we're not worried about Creature Commandos. We're not worried about anything else. We just worried
Creature
about.
Commandos is currently finished. They can do a season 2 of Creature Commandos if they want to continue on with some stuff. Don't know how they want to work it because again, there's going to be a transition, and they already said this. The transition between animated and live action stuff is
Yeah,
going to carry over. So you're going to see some stuff animated, you're going to see some stuff live action, but it's all going to be within the same continuity
right.
as far as what's happening. So like the fact that we saw Flag freaking in Creature Commandos, and then we see him in live action is like freaking okay. You can they're one and the same character as far as what I know, and that'll continue on freaking. But are they going to allude to that, or are they going to keep everything separate? Like how are they going to play this? Because we saw how things were going in that one, and things are getting kind of freaking crazy. I would love to see Phosphorus freaking kind of Phosphorus live action would go freaking
I don't
nuts.
know if you could do that because he's going to body everybody he wants to.
Yeah, he's going to. He's going to. Like it would go nuts. Like it would not. The movie would be like freaking 10 minutes long. Like
Yeah, pretty much.
just burn through everything, and call it a day. Freaking so. I don't know.
So, oh, okay. So the movie was great.
All right.
Great start.
All right. So with the movie being as great as it is, I definitely think we should get into something a little bit more talked about. Freaking animated series Batman. Freaking animated series Batman is goaded.
It's the
Like
goat.
all day.
It's the goat.
Like you can't ever bring up Batman in conversation and not mention how great the animated series was. Plain and simple.
BTAS. Say the whole thing.
Batman the animated series. That's it. So we talked about Superman at length as far as this movie is concerned and how much we love it. Let's talk about what the different Supermen are throughout the live action series. We're gonna break all that down. We're gonna get into it shortly. Like that's one of the
That's
biggest
going to be
things.
the next stop on the live.
Yeah, that is the next stop.
And if you
Freaking.
haven't already subscribed to the channel, we are here for you.
Yep. All right. So as far as Batman's and stuff go, I'm very happy that Superman is getting the love that it deserves because Batman has been shown time and time again as far as movies is concerned.
Yep.
Superman freaking I think it's had several movies and stuff like that, but it's also had several TV shows and stuff like that.
A lot of TV
And
shows.
uh I'm not sure you can how many people have played Superman compared to how many people have played Batman. I think Superman edges out by a couple, maybe like two.
Actually, it's about even.
Is it about even?
Yeah, because people forget there was two. There were two people who played Batman before Adam West, but they only did it in like I think the first guy did it in 2 episodes. The second guy did it in 1 episode because Batman wasn't popular when he first came out. People forget he almost got sold to Marvel because people didn't like him.
Hmm.
So let's
All
see.
right, so
One, two, Adam West. It's about 10. It's about the
about 10.
same. It's about the same.
All right, so freaking now we've been talking about Superman and power scaling and rankings as far as who do you think played pivotal roles freaking with Superman, who you think was the strongest Superman. Like, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on all of this and who do you think freaking played the best version of Superman.
Well,
We are
there's a difference
it's gonna
between the best version and the most powerful version.
so I want to get into most powerful, like because we already talked
Okay.
about Core and Sweat struggling to hold up buildings,
Wait,
and
before we do that, Jeremy, my rating was a strong 8.5, and that's generous for me because I rank my comic book movies harder than anybody. So anything above 7 for me is a rewatch. 8.5 is exceeding any expectations I have. I rarely give out nines. I never give out tens. I don't care how great the movie is. I will never give a movie a 10 because it's always something I can pick apart. But strong 8.5, I would definitely rewatch it.
All right, freaking. I want to say I'm in the same realm. I want to say yeah, 8.5 and stuff. And I give it that because I don't know as much about it, so I don't feel like I can critique the movie to its to its best. Because again, the the knowledge of Superman I think may also be a hindrance for some people to actually just sit back and enjoy the movie.
Yep.
As Rob, so freaking yeah. So
Like
I'm
if you go
definitely
into this movie just
if I go
not
into this
knowing
movie, just
nothing,
watch the movie, not know nothing to that,
it's gonna blow your
it's
mind away.
yeah, I'm at a 9, solid.
But me growing
But
up with DC is kind of I have more critiques than Will does, and I have a problem, and they know my problem. I can't stop my brain when I watch a movie, and I will always pick out the wrong thing. So I like I said, I grade my comic book movies extra hard, but this is definitely a rewatch.
definitely rewatch.
Yeah, definitely.
All
I
right,
mean, I'm
so
not going back because I don't like people like that, but I'll watch it when if it comes on TV, it'll be on play.
oh, freaking guarantee. Like it's definitely gonna hit a max, I'm
I
sure,
might
freaking
even add it to
by
my DVD collection. That's how good this movie is. It might actually go into the collection.
I definitely think it'll be in the collection. I am starting because I've collected all the MCU movies, not TV shows. I've collected all the MCU movies thus far,
You
so
need to add
that's
Lord
just
of the Rings.
that's something to do. Yeah, no. But with the new universe that James Gunn is building, freaking, I am collecting everything in this era because I'm confident that I think this is going to be a better era for DC, and it's
I hope
actually going
so,
to be able to shine as Marvel did during the Infinity Saga. Like that, freaking.
which I still have problems with.
I mean, there's going to be problems. You're going to
Look,
have problems with things like that's just where it's going to go. Warner Brothers has damaged Superman to the point where they cannot sell a single thing if it does not have Batman on it. No, I disagree. I disagree. I don't think
Wonder
Superman is
Woman,
that.
the first Wonder Woman was very popular among the teenage girls here.
Yeah, it's about like
It was everywhere.
I have
It
a
was
daughter.
everywhere.
Wonder
I got
Woman,
two, and they
like
were everywhere.
she's all over Wonder Woman, like Wonder Woman merch, whatever. Yes, Superman merch will sell at all. Like I don't think
It's
the
just
amount of
sales from
stuff.
nostalgia and people knowing people who know the character of Superman will talk to other people about the character who don't know and get them interested in Superman.
Yeah,
That's how that goes with him.
I mean, I've had friends talk to me about characters that I was not, fully on board with because I didn't
Blue
know and
Marvel.
stuff like that. And yeah, freaking, like you put me on the Blue Marvel, as far as like I knew of the character, but I didn't know in depth. So he put me on to Blue Marvel as far as the depth of the character, and freaking, I dived in, and I still have not resurfaced. Like there's still stuff like I'm hoping that Blue Marvel comes to
Can't
fruition at some point.
can't
He can't freaking
can't.
like it's
You
it's
see
a
how
hope.
they nurse it. We're not talking about that one. No, we're not talking about that. No, you're not going to get me going. Get back to what we have to do. You're not keeping me here for 7 hours. You're not.
I absolutely will. All right,
You
so
are not.
thanks, mine. Freaking, so let's talk about freaking Superman's. So Superman's power set within this movie was lower on average than I guess some of the other Superman that
A
you've
lot of the
seen
others. A
portrayed
lot of the
to
others.
that. So you have to go through who you ranked at what as far as power scaling and why you ranked them as such. What was the feats? What was the issue with their particular power scaling?
All right, so I'm gonna go off what I can remember, and mind you, I am old and I do forget stuff. So just know this. So I'm just gonna give you the 10. I think it was 10. So what we'll do is we'll start off with the lowest ranked
Okay.
and then work our way up. And this will cover all live action. So movies, TV shows, all in
Okay.
one. I'm not gonna keep them separate because that's too many lists, and I'm lazy. I don't feel like doing it. So at number 10, we're going to start off with the very first ever Superman, Kirk Allen. And the reason he is the bottom tier is because he was the 1938 Superman. And for those that don't know, the 1938 Superman did not have feats more than throwing a couple cars around, moving some buildings. He was basically city level. He couldn't fly yet. He was just jumping.
Hmm.
So that's why he's this low. He was the standard basic superhero. So number 10, no doubt. Next we're gonna go is to another version of Superman, and that's Gerard Christopher. And the reason he's low is he played Superboy in 1988. So this was after another person on this list. But again, his feats were early in his career. He was city level, maybe continent level power. He really didn't do anything outside of uh, Metropolis. So that's where he is. Now we get into the big boys. Now, number 8 is George Reeves. This is the Superman I started with. This is the TV show I grew up with.
Mm.
He reminds you of Golden Age Superman more than anybody. He has minor planetary feats, but nothing compared to later on because, again, the character of Superman was evolving. So, in this time frame, him being bulletproof made him the best person on the planet. So of course he had all his stuff. He had super strength, vision, breath, could fly. He was the first one who could fly. Super strength, invulnerability. He had all that. He showed all that. So he's number 8. And now number 7 is the debut of Corn Sweat. The reason I have him at 7, even though he is our newest version of Superman, if you watch the movie, he struggled holding up buildings. He didn't have any other real feats besides that. He did fight a clone of himself, but most of the other guys have fought a clone of themselves or somebody stronger. I think he's still a younger version of Superman whose powers are developing. So I think the next iteration of him, I think he will be stronger than what he is now. But for right now, he's high city level, maybe low tier world. You know what I'm saying? But him just holding up the building, he couldn't throw a kaiju, which I think again shows his power set is a little bit lower. Now we're gonna jump to number 6, and it's a lot of y'all's favorite Superman, Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill has feats that the others don't. He bodied Steppenwolf. He did fight a version of Doomsday, which I hated, but he also died. I think those are some solid feats with him, but when you hear what the other guys have done, you'll see why he's at 6. Number 5 is going to be my boy Tyler Hoechlin from the Arrowverse. The reason now he didn't do a lot on his own show, but he did have a feat that Henry Cavill did not have. He tanked a reality warping attack from the Book of Destiny. He literally stood there and didn't move. The Book of Destiny would destroy Cavill Superman. So that's why he's up a little higher. Plus, I do like his look better than I like Cavill's. I like that shit. That's me. He looks more like a random Superman that I could get behind. He does have other feats, but his big one was if you get hit by the Book of Destiny, you should cease to exist, and he didn't. So now we're gonna stick with the TV shows, and we're gonna go to number 4, which is Dean Cain. Now, Dean Cain, they gave a power set to that he now like all of these fly, but he flies faster than the speed of light. So he has the speed advantage. He can also phase like the Flash through solid objects. He took a nuke that took Cavill out. He tanked the nuke and then he headbutted an asteroid out of orbit. to keep it from hitting Earth. All of those feats are greater than anything that Cavill or Tyler has done. So he's a solid four. Now we're going to get into my top three. And y'all can argue with somebody else about this. I'm not moving any of them. Number three, my favorite, probably Superman power level, Brandon Roth. Superman Returns. The movie itself was horrible, but Brandon as Superman was great. And he showed up as his version of Superman twice. We're going to talk about the movie one first. His main feat that obliterates anything that anybody else below him has done. He picked up a island full of kryptonite. And we know what kryptonite did. We saw what kryptonite did to Corn Sweat in the movie. Just a small chunk. How it put Corn Sweat down. Brandon picked up an entire island of kryptonite and threw it into space. That right there shows me that his power is way above anybody else. His second iteration was, I call Kingdom Come, because that's exactly who he looked like. He was a Kingdom Come Superman. As Tyler and the Arrowverse people was traveling through time, they came upon him and he bodied Tyler with ease. They got into a fight. He was just like, nah, get out of here. So yes, Brandon has his strength level is up here. Now the top two. Number two should be no surprise to anybody. It's the OG Superman, Christopher Reeves from 1978. We can just go by his feats in his first movie. He had others. One and two were fine. Don't look at anything else after that. If you just go by his feats in his first movie, when he moved the moon, he time traveled. He literally traveled back in time, and he fought against three Kryptonians at once. Now, yes, he was getting hurt, but he still fought him and he beat him. All of those, all of those feats are better than anything below anybody, above anybody on this list. And so, if you've done your research on the Superman, you know who number one is, and it's number one for a reason. Tom Welling from Smallville. And the reason Tom is at number one is if you start at season one of Smallville and you see him first getting his powers, and you run all the way to season 10 and see how he has evolved into a Superman, he was closest to the comic book version of Superman that we have. He moved Apocalypse away from Earth. You know, Apocalypse is bigger than our moon. And he fought his version of Doomsday and won. And it was a fight. This wasn't him getting, thrown around. It was a knockout, drag out fight. And he won. So this is the main reason I have Tom as number one. Oh, nope. Get rid of that. Hey, get rid of that, Will.
Yep.
Yes, Henry Cavill is strength, but even his strength, if we do anything, if we move Cavill around and try to get him to do other feats, he's not at that level yet. I think he could have been, but for right now, he has to be at that level. Tom is still the top dog just for everything that he has done in all 10 seasons. It was so much that he did, and you saw his character develop from what I like to call Superboy, because they did retcon that he was never Superboy, but him going from Superboy to actually putting on the official S and becoming Superman and doing what he doing, and it was great. And then even he showed up in the Arrowverse when they was time traveling, but he had given up his powers, so his version ended up being the strongest and the weakest. But that's who I have. Any questions, Will?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I think you explained that fairly well. Now, as far as Tom Welling goes, because I didn't get to see his particular fight with Doomsday. I don't think. I think I was probably overseas during that time. Um, Was that just like a season finale type thing? Freaking, was
Yeah,
that something that happened over
it
the
was.
course
Yeah,
of?
it was, and his version of Doomsday was arguably the best looking for me. Yeah, it was. If you've read The Death of Superman, then that's the fight. It was everything that you wanted and more.
Well, yeah, I'm with it. Freaking, I'm about to go back and freaking watch that series. Um, so with all the live action Supermans, I think that when Superman was created, as far as the movie Superman Legacy, I don't know if that's still what it's being called or how it differentiates from the other Superman movies as far as title goes. But when James Gunn was doing the work on this, you said he used a lot of different references. I think mainly comics through his reference.
He
You think
used.
anything was pulled from any live actions that he saw?
I don't think. I think he mainly did comic books, which I can see because Cornset reminded me, and you heard me and the guy in the movie talking about it last night. He pulled most of his stuff from All Star Superman, which is if you have not read this comic, you need to read this comic. This will this will stop anybody from saying anybody is stronger than Superman. Period. All Star Superman, for those who did not know, his major feat of strength, they had invented a machine that mimicked the weight of Earth. He lifted one handed the weight of Earth for 1 week nonstop and dropped one bead of sweat. One. That is how strong All Star Superman is.
Uh,
So, yeah. That's why I was like, yeah, he did base it off of All Star, but he did not use the power of because you can't. Because he would have picked that kaiju up and threw him into the sun
yeah, man,
with
freaking
with ease. It would have you wouldn't have had a movie because he's stronger than everybody.
okay.
Not everybody though. Not everybody in
All right.
comics.
All right, well, yeah. So that'll conclude this part of this video, because we're going to do another video. We're kind of doing everything in sections right now, but we're going to do another part of the video where we're going to talk about some of the strongest Supermen in comics. And Tony has put together a list, so you'll be able to check that in the next video, which we're going to do freaking right here on stream. So freaking, I'm gonna start getting that set
Subscribe.
up.
Subscribe to us.
Yes,
That way
by
you can
all
tell
means.
Will how wrong he is all the time.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah,
And
I
also you
love.
can tell Will to watch Lord of the Rings.
I'm not watching Lord of the Rings anytime soon
And
at
that's why
home.
Iron Man sucks.
Yeah, that's fine. There's nothing new when it comes to you.
You will watch Lord of the Rings one day.
No, I will do no such thing.
Okay.
All right. So we are here to talk about your list of some of the greatest comic book Supermen. I guess, and you got them ranked in order of
Of me,
strongest.
of what I believe.
What
Now,
you believe is the strongest.
some of
Okay.
these I'm gonna go deep. I'm gonna do a deep dive into.
Hey,
Some
I'm
of them
with it.
I'm not, because again, I'm not staying here for 19 hours with your crazy butt. I saw you enough yesterday.
Too much
So
mutual. So yeah, go ahead.
no, it's not.
Let's get started with what you got.
That's why you walk like that.
Cause I got because I got no knees. I got broke knees.
So I'm gonna give now. We know there are at least 45, 50, 60 different iterations of Superman. I'm not talking about all those. I'm gonna give you a core 10 that I think are above the rest. So we're gonna start off at the bottom. I guess you really can't say the bottom because it's still Superman.
It's
We're gonna talk
Superman.
about President Calvin Ellis of Earth 23. The
Hmm.
reason I have him at the bottom is pretty much because he's just Superman. He has shown no feats. Nothing really is impressive about him. Um, yeah, that's it. He's just a regular, just Superman. So let's go now to number 9, who Is
I
it
mean,
Superman?
man,
He's just he's
he's
just
just
there.
Superman.
He's just Superman. So we're gonna go to number 9, who is technically Superman. Now a lot of these are gonna be technicalities. He is Superman, but he's like a clone of Superman. So we're not talking about Bizarro. We're talking about Brutal. Brutal
Brutal.
Brutal came about when people thought Superman died and Darkseid had made a clone of Superman, and nobody knew who this dude was until he took off his helmet and then screamed out all hail Darkseid, and people thought Superman had went evil. Like, don't think of it just as Superman. This guy is so far above injustice. Think about really think about if Sentry, Superman, Hyperion all merged. That's the attitude you give Superman. So technically, he is a Bizarro type creature. He has a version of the Omega beams that they call the Omega Sanction. That's his heat vision. That's what and it follows you. He has no empathy, no compassion. So some of his feats are he one punch Hal Jordan. He casually fought Doctor Fate casually, took his helmet off, and broke it. You know what I'm saying? He also killed Steppenwolf. He almost ran down the Flash. He's I think solar system level power. So he's up there. Now I will say I put him lower than the guy above him, even though he did technically beat the guy above him, but the guy above him got stronger as the story went on. So that's why I put him higher. And number 8 will be Val-Zod.
Hmm.
Val-Zod became Superman after Superman had died. Now the problem with Val-Zod is, yes, he was Kryptonian, but he also was a pacifist. And they kept him inside his entire life. So he was agoraphobic, which means he has a fear of open spaces. So until he got over this
Really?
fear, yeah, he like when they escaped with him, he was breaking out in a cold sweat and was over in the corner like this, like he couldn't be outside. That's just how bad he is. And the only reason he lost to Brutal is because he hadn't been exposed to the sun like that. So he had base level powers on everything. But as soon as he got exposed, oh, as soon as he got over being a pacifist and had to realize he actually had to put people down and he had to put down Brutal, he did.
Hmm.
So Val, but Brutal and Val can be flip flop. It's just my personal opinion on this.
Preference.
So number 7 is I think one of my favorite iterations of Superman. Kingdom Come Superman. Now, for those that not read Kingdom Come, this was an alternate future where the heroes had retired. So all your main heroes are gone. Wonder Woman went back to Themyscira. Green Lantern was now in space and didn't come to Earth that much. Flash just stayed in his city running around. Batman turned Gotham into a metropolis type area. He has now flying bat robots flying around, keeping the peace at all times. There's like zero crime in Gotham. And Superman retired to Kansas. All the other superheroes were gone. And so what happened, the new superheroes came about. And with them, they had nobody to teach them how to be heroes. So
Hmm.
instead of them trying to contain damage, they were just like fighting and causing more destructions than the villains and end up killing people, innocent people, and not having remorse for it. And just like, well, we stopped the bad guy. We don't care. So then
Hmm.
Superman came back and was like, okay, we got to stop this. And he, basically, short version, he reformed Justice League. I want you to read this book. I don't want to give away everything. And Captain Marvel was under Lex Luthor's control with the earworm. But he's I just say this because he's such an older version of Superman and the solar radiation. We all know the longer he's exposed, the stronger he becomes, and he has been around for a long, long time. He also has some resistance to kryptonite, as the other ones don't. Um, his power level is probably low multiversal, maybe barely. And if also he took a punch from Hercules, like main DC Hercules, the real Hercules. Hercules hit him. Now this was after he was with earlier. The early Superman came back and they were together. Hercules hit that our Superman and knocked him into a building. Hercules then hit Kingdom Come Superman, and Kingdom Come Superman looked at him, grabbed him by his face, and threw him away.
All right.
It was literally like, why? Why? And then Hercules was like, what just happened? And so yeah, that was it. Um, so that's pretty much him. So he's at 7. Now number 6 is going to be the Silver Age Superman. This is the one that before they started bringing out all the multitude different versions of Superman, he was the standard of power. He was the quintessential, this is how strong Superman has been. Just, I mean, he even had ridiculous powers where he could shoot many versions of himself out of his fingertips, and they had his power. So you had 10 mini Supermans flying around. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But just some of the feats that he had. He dragged an entire galaxy away because the galaxy was dying. So he grabbed all the planets, put them on a chain, and drugged them all away without killing anybody. He sneezed and destroyed a solar system. He altered time by flying without even trying. It was a mistake. He flew through a time barrier on accident. Like, this is literally what this man was doing. He withstood the force of 100 exploding galaxies. He survived a Big Bang. So you kind of see how the level of power, while people say Silver Age is the quintessential version of Superman. And it was like that for a
Nuts.
long time until they brought out the next guy, All Star Superman, who is what Corn Swift look and character was based on. Now, in this story, this is also another story you need to read. In this story, this Superman is dying from overexposure to the Earth's sun. It wasn't explained how this happened since that's his thing, but his cells got so saturated that it was killing him. So as he was dying, he did all these other things. They call them the 12 feats of Superman, and he finished all of them before he died. So one of them was he built an artificial heart for the sun, so the sun would never go out. He beat Solaris, the tyrant sun. If anybody knows who this dude eats suns for fun, and Superman beat him. He also changed Chronivore. That's a time-eating monster, a monster that eats time. Superman beat him. This one did. He also created a formula and left it for them so they could create another Superman upon his death. He also answered the unanswerable question. For those that know the Greek mythology, you got the Sphinx that always ask the questions, and to live or die, you have to answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Superman went to him, and the Sphinx gave him the only question that nobody could answer correctly. What happens when an immovable force meets an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? What happens? His answer, which was the only correct one, they both surrender. That's the only answer to that question. And he was the only one to ever get it right. And he was like, yeah, you're right. And those are his feats for just the book. He also, his power set went to, he has cosmic awareness, he has telekinesis, he's immune to kryptonite, he can go invisible or tangible, and he has bioelectric, or he has a bioelectric aura. And he also has an infinite mass punch. The thing Flash has it, yeah. He has all of that. So you see why I say he was based on this Superman. Like, look, if you look at this Superman, he looks like Corn Sweat Superman, but the power
Mm-hmm.
set is not there.
But it's what he
So
can build
now
up to.
it's what if he builds up to this, oh, it's gonna be a problem. So now you're saying, well, if he's that powerful, how can anybody be more powerful than him? This is when you come to Strange Visitor Superman, which a lot of people, I'm sure, might not know of. Strange Visitor Superman. So just get this out of the way. He has all the powers of Superman. Okay?
Okay.
He is rumored to be 1 billion years old.
Okay.
Okay? He can tear holes in dimensions to reach other places that Mixie cannot get to.
That in itself is nuts because Mixie goes everywhere.
Mixie goes wherever he wants to, but he can reach into him. He can outrun entropy. He survived a dimensional space explosion that shook the fifth dimension. He divided himself into thousands upon thousands of iterations of himself to hold back death of a universe forever. Anything to say about that?
I don't know what to say.
He duplicated himself
I thought Mini Superman's was freaking bad.
to
This man is just
stop death forever in one universe. He just stops it. Come on now. Now, and of course, I know you're asking again. There can't be anybody more stronger than this guy. That is where you be incorrect. This is a newer character, and arguably my favorite Superman villain, Superboy Prime. Why is this, you say? This is Superboy Prime. He grew up in an alternate reality where he was the only hero. All the other heroes only existed in comic books. He had a Lex Luthor. He had a Lois Lane. That universe ceased to exist and they went into a pocket dimension. So they started looking around. If you haven't read this story, it's a lot of these storylines y'all need to read. If you haven't read this storyline that introduced Superboy Prime, this version of it, you need to do it. And so he came, they found our, the current DC universe. And of course, there's like, oh, we got another Superboy. Cool. But of course, this was the time that you had Connor Kent. Now, we all know Connor Kent wasn't the strongest Superboy ever. He had the basic powers, but he was the weaker version of any versions of the Superboy. And of course, he didn't like Connor because he should have been Superboy. He's the younger Superboy, but I'm not going to get into that. So he has the same power set as Superman, along with hyper regeneration, reality warping. He has rage power. For rage power, think of the Incredible Hulk. Now he's already Superman strong, but as he continues to get mad, Superman gets stronger. You know who the Anti-Monitor is, correct?
Yeah.
He beat the Anti-Monitor. That's the outfit he has on. He is wearing the Anti-Monitor's suit. Now, why, you ask? Because this suit collects solar radiation. So he's constantly getting fed solar radiation. So he's resistant to magic, telepathy, telekinesis, reality warping, antimatter manipulation, and kryptonite. None of that affects him. So, we saw that. Remember, we saw that battle. They was like, what if Scarlet Witch would fight Superboy Prime? And I was like, Superboy Prime would body this female. Because what's her thing? Reality warping. What doesn't affect him? Reality warping. He's also immune to BFR. Oh, for those that don't know, that's called battlefield removal. That means if he's fighting on this, if he's in a battle, you can't teleport him away. He's going to stay there. He also escaped from the Speed Force and the Phantom Zone. He does have a fear of flashes, though, because of his time in the Speed Force, because he constantly fight him. He does have a fear of that. He beat two Supermen at the same time. Kingdom Come Superman and current Superman at the same time. Red Sun is a weakness, but that's all Kryptonian's weaknesses. But again, that suit he has on counters that. They also flew him through a planet made of kryptonite, and they was like, why it had no effect on him? What is going on here? So yeah, some more of his feats because I told you he had a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
He killed 30 Green Lanterns.
For breakfast.
He tanked punches from Bart Allen, who at the time was the Flash and had absorbed the Speed Force, and he took the punch.
Like the infinite mass punch.
Yes, he took it. And we already know he killed Anti Monitor. In combat, he destroyed Black Adam, made Black Adam run. Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, Power Girl, and Ion all lost to him. He caught and tortured Mixie, a fifth dimensional being. He caught and tortured him.
I ain't torch because if he
No, he caught and tortured him. Like Mixie tried to run and he couldn't get away. He was like, come here.
because if you get Mixie to say his name, he
He,
goes
he
back to
or Mixie can leave on his own.
so he couldn't even
he couldn't run away.
he couldn't damn.
All right, we know the Guardians, right? The Green
Yeah.
Lantern big bosses who are like elders of the universe. One of them blew up to try to take him out. Not only did he survive it, he absorbed the energy and became stronger. Yeah. All right, so he also killed multiple Teen Titans. In fact, he killed multiple people, period, in this. Like, everybody jumped on him, and he was like, why are you making me do this? And he started killing folks. One of his punches, when he got mad, caused the entire DC universe everywhere to glitch. He was breaking the walls of reality with his punch. Any questions?
How do you stop him? Like
There are beings above him. Like he is one of the most powerful versions of Superman.
Superman.
But there are beings above that have stopped him.
We gonna have a conversation about that later. Carry on.
Perpetual was one. Now, my top two. Number two is only like this because he doesn't have a lot of feats like Superboy Prime, but the feats he does have are ridiculous. And that's Milkman. Milkman Superman is exactly what he sounds like. He's Superman dressed like a milkman. And his milk gives him the thing like superpowers and he can see stuff. He's a character from the Doomsday Clock. He's a 12D dimensional being. 12th dimension.
Okay. All right.
He has one weakness. That's the writers. That's his only weakness. His powers are story breaking. Literally, think of God of Story Loki.
Mm-hmm.
That would be his thumb.
Okay.
He got retconned. Found out he got retconned and got mad about it and became a scourge in DC. He just went around causing trouble because he found out he got retconned. His reality warping abilities are to the point where he can manipulate the plot of anything he thinks about. Anything. Nothing can stop it. And that's it. Those are his feats. He has been in like two books, and that's it. But that's ridiculous. Right?
Yeah, I'd say so. That's who
So,
even came up with this
bruh.
concept.
Now, my number one, I want to deviate. I want to mention two that did not make my list because one, I don't believe in them, and two, they're all rumors or they're fake. So first, we're going to go with World Forger Superman. This was from the storyline where Justice League, Superman walked into his little dimensional door, and they went to the future, and then you find a future Justice League. Come to find out, this wasn't Superman; it was actually World Forger dressed up as Superman. So think of Toba Hulk, how it's
Okay.
not Hulk, it's something else. That's not Superman. That's something else. So I don't consider him a Superman. He is a six dimensional being, but I don't think he's a Superman. The next guy on the list, who a lot of people are probably going to be surprised about, is Superman 1 million. I don't have him on this list for a multitude of reasons because all of his feats are suspect.
Hmm.
And also, there is another character called DC 1 million suit that I think a lot of people, it's future Superman, a million years into the future. Still got a Superman, but this guy, you really don't have anything to back up basis on things he does. There's rumor that he could create life. There's rumor that he made an android body for Lois Lane, brought her back from the dead. Uh, and this all comes from him staying inside the sun 15,000 years. But the problem I have with that is if we take his 15,000 years inside the sun, right? Soups
Hmm.
get stronger 3 times for every 15, by threes. His like Goku, they got the scale. He gets 3 times stronger for every 15 minutes he's inside the sun, right? He should be stronger than Strange Visitor Superman, who's over 1 billion years old, and he's not. You see what I'm saying? This he
Hmm.
don't add up.
Okay.
So, and then you really can't find real stories with him. You just hear rumors, and the internet says this, and the internet. So no, and then we just got to go version of Superman in the comics. It's nothing like this. So why would you have two versions of the same character looking just exactly alike?
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I've heard of, again, Superman Prime 1 million, but again, I've never seen anything on it. Like
Right.
I've never personally went looking either, but it just it's like, okay,
Everything
that's
is
just.
hearsay, or I heard this, or I heard that, and then you have the fan. Like one guy even went far as to make a fan made. Like he was a great artist. Like it looked great, but it was fan made, and people then started running with that. Well, see, here's a panel, here's a panel, here's a scan. No, it's not.
Hmm.
So they're not going to be on. And of course, just for I already said it earlier, but Injustice Supes, he's arguably the weakest form of Superman, just because. Um, at number one, who I'm cheating with, Cosmic Armor Superman, the Thought Robot. He's only had one appearance ever, but it counted so much. Yes, he is not technically Superman, but in the form of Superman, but he is a merged version of Superman with another character. So, yes, he is Superman for me.
Okay.
He is immortal. He has the power of adaptation and evolution.
Darwin.
He can evolve to defeat any threat to the omniverse. You get no bigger than the omniverse. There are only two people above him, the presence and Michael. He scales above Lucifer. And we know what Lucifer does. Michael's only stronger than him because of his sword. That's the only reason. He has cosmic psychology. He can manipulate reality, of course, and he's a combat expert in everything. He has conceptual power. That means he can perceive the universe on his finger. He literally does this, and the universe appears, and he can look at it. In vulnerability, he survived the heat of 10 billion suns. 10 billion. For those that didn't understand, 10 billion suns.
Yeah, I don't understand at all.
He killed the Dark Monitor. For those that don't know, the Dark Monitor is stronger than the Anti Monitor. The Anti Monitor is almost omniversal. The Dark Monitor can body him. This dude, now he did take some damage, and he did shut himself down to preserve reality. So a lot of people are like, well, he lost the fight. No, no, he beat him. The Dark Monitor's name is Mandrak. He was made to
Mhm.
suck the life and hope out of all fiction, all fiction, not just DC. We're talking about Marvel. We're talking about Image. We're talking about all fiction. Your anime. That's his sole purpose is to suck the hope and life out of it. And Thought Robot beat him. And that, sir, is my 10.
I did not realize. First off, how many versions of Superman? There's more versions of Superman. I know.
Oh, it's at least 50. I know.
Freaking so that, but this gives you weight and scale to understand why Superman is considered the one above all in the world of superheroes. Like
Correct.
this, the amount
Now,
of thought, pun intended with this cosmic Superman, the amount of thought put into freaking how to make Superman one of the most OP characters ever is absolutely insane. Like this is,
and a
I
lot,
wouldn't
I
even
know
start going
people are
throughout.
going to come at me because, well, because of this, but still, even if you take away this guy, you still have Milkman. Like he
Milkman
is
and Superboy Prime are still freaking,
thought
huge in their own
robot,
right.
thought robot, like Milkman can manipulate the plot. Thought robot exists outside the plot. So that's why I have him tiered higher than Milkman. Like Milkman, even though he only been a couple books, is ridiculous.
It doesn't matter, but if it's in legit writing, it's legit writing done in the comics and stuff like that. It stands to be like this is what it is. Like it's kind of hard to refute this. Freaking like you can refute freaking 1 million because it has if it hasn't been done. But this has been done. This is literally freaking a like a one shot issue that was done or something for this.
Hmm.
So it's little writing, it's little canon to Superman's you know arc, so it exists somewhere. It's just like I've never seen this before, so this is all brand new to me. I've never seen this, and it's just like, what the hell? Just listening to you list off Superboy Prime feats
Let
and
me
stuff
tell
like
you,
that
Super.
itself, and then you
Let me
just
tell you
trumped all
something.
this.
When Superboy Prime, like they eventually beat him. He had to get beat. He ran. They took the he they got the armor off of him. He started running out of power. They threw him through a red sun. He got depowered, right? So then what they did when they captured him, they put him in. Think of the Injustice video game when they had Superman surrounded by the red sun.
Yeah.
That's how they did Superboy Prime, but they also had 50 Green Lanterns in there floating, watching him in case he got real. They're like, okay, he's depowered. Then all of a sudden, he looked down and he took some metal and he carved the Superman emblem in his chest while he was smiling. I'm like, this dude is psychotic. This dude is psychotic. Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-mm.
Just
Yeah.
like, yeah, Superboy Prime is a problem for anybody. Anybody. Like he is one of the few people, even though Lobo is unkillable, I think he could kill Lobo. But that's just me. That's the power scale.
I mean, do we have the time to to have him put into work? That's like a fight that just won't end for a
That's
millennia. Like
that's the
that's
thing. You because people don't understand. Lobo is not like Deadpool. Deadpool can regenerate from a drop of blood. Lobo can regenerate from his existence. You know what
just
I'm
from him
saying?
have just
Just
from
from
him
him
have
being
being
there.
created.
So yeah, he's there, and then he's Superman power level. But again, Prime is something different. Superboy Prime, and then there's a rumored Superman Prime that's not the 1 million version, but the only thing it is Superboy Prime who grew up. So I didn't want to put both of them on here because it's the same character technically.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah,
Yeah. I don't know what to say about that. That was an interesting thing in itself. So I appreciate you going into detail about this because again, I learned something new today. Hopefully, everybody out there has learned something in terms of this. If you have not read these stories, I encourage you to go out and read these stories. I'm going to the shop afterwards to go find these stories, or about to search them online to see some of this stuff because some of the stuff I haven't seen. I've read freaking way more Marvel than I have DC, and this is stuff like this again. I love when people put me on to stuff that I don't know about, or I got a reason to go look up now, so like that, freaking because I now get that nostalgia that I had as a kid all over again, reading something that I've never read before. It's just like, oh my god, this is amazing. Oh, this is so cool. Freaking, I want to see that. So I'm with it. So if you haven't checked some of the stuff out, hey, go visit your local comic book store, get online, freaking to one of those comic apps. They got several different ones. I don't know
They
what
got a
DC
lot of
has.
them out there.
I don't know what if DC has a specific one for their stuff, but
I
hey,
had some, but I got my new
oh,
outstanding droid, and I haven't put it back on here because it's
there's like
just great.
yeah, it's like Comixology. I think was one
That is one.
that was out there for a lot of comics. For Marvel stories is Marvel Unlimited. I'm not sure what DC has, but I'm definitely gonna look it up, and if I do find it, so that freaking I will link it down below. But yeah, no, I'm with it. That was great. Freaking, we'll we'll get into more now.
Okay,
You
here we
know
go.
what you need to do next, right?
What?
I need a Batman version of this in the future.
I mean, I can't power scale Batman because they're all the same.
You can't power skate, but freaking, I just want to know about the different versions of Batman that I may not know about. What are
Oh,
the what what are the obscure versions and stuff? What
I
are
mean, you got
something
the
that?
Gotham by Gaslight
No,
Batman.
I don't want to know. I don't want
What?
to. We're gonna be
Where he
here
was fighting
forever. Yeah.
Jack the Ripper.
But yeah, no, there's a lot of stories and stuff to it, and this is one of the reasons why comic book movies I think are so great, so versatile because they allow you to pull from several different iterations of characters that have
See,
been done
now
over the years.
I hate you because now I'm thinking.
Yeah, this is what I do then. Freaking, several versions of comic books over several years, decades, that these stories have been written and created. Now it's so much for you to pull from, and then you regurgitate this in different ways, stuff like that, and you give different variations for different generations. You're going to come up with different versions for different generations. And these allow these characters to live on and to do more things and everybody to experience it in a different way. All right. His Superman that freaking he grew up with may not be the same Superman that I grew up with that I came
Oh,
into,
it definitely wasn't.
10 years later, sort of that. The Superman version that my kids see freaking is not going to be the same version that freaking, he grew up with. But, us being able to see these things and then, go back and look at, where it came from, I think it's fantastic in itself. So, my hats off to everyone. And right now, my hats off especially to James Gunn for doing the work that he did on the newest Superman movie for 2025. Uh, Absolutely fantastic. I'm enjoying the heck out of this. And
That was a great
hey,
movie.
I'm here for the ride. So I think that's most of our Superman review. You got anything else on your mind? Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else that
I
sparks
mean,
your
there's a lot of
fancy?
stuff I want to talk about, but I gotta pee.
All right, so we'll leave it there. Again, we appreciate you guys for tuning in, for hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that little subscribe button if you haven't already. Again, love to hear your thoughts on stuff. Drop them down in the comments. We want to hear everything you got to say about you know everything Superman related.
What?
Again, this is
Yeah.
what we're here to talk about.
Let me know what DC character you want me to cover next, because I'll do it just
Oh,
because.
he absolutely will do it. We're all
I'll
about it.
deep it. Hey, do you want me to deep dive into a character? Tell you some stuff that you don't know. Come on.
Right. That's what we're here for. We love to talk and we just love to have conversations. So we're all about it. But until then, hey, we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.